There's a big green locomotive steaming down the tracks throughout the DMV, and the side of the engine reads Bethesda Big Train. The squad from Shirley Povich Field has knocked out 9 wins in a row, the longest winning streak for the franchise since 2019. They look to make it 10 tonight against the Aces of Alexandria. It's a clash of divisional leaders in the Cal Ripken Baseball League, and it takes place right here on the Big Train Baseball Network. Alongside Eliav Brooks Rubin, I'm Jackson Corcoran, and first thing, Eliav, congratulations are in order to Connor Hutchinson, who pitched the league's first complete game no-hitter this year. A fantastic effort that finished 1 hit batter short of a perfect game.
Indubitably, Jackson. Connor Hutchinson had easily the best pitching performance of the season. It just hit Caleb Sturdivant, an ironic guy to hit, considering he was the one who broke up the Big Train's no-hit bid in the 5th inning all the way back last weekend, or last time those two teams met. The Aces, though, come in on a 3-game win streak, not quite as impressive as the Big Train's 9. They're playing some very good baseball, top 3 in the league in both team OPS and team ERA, and they are going to pose a tough test for the Big Train tonight.
And we'll take a look at how these two teams are shaping up for today. Michael Deviney is on the mound for the Bethesda Big Train, making his 3rd start of the year. The squad are 2-0 when he does take the mound first. The lineup for the Big Train looks pretty standard, but it's a tough top for the Aces. The first 3 guys in this order are all All-Stars, Eliav.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Deviney had success against the Aces last time out when these two teams met in the doubleheader. He was the winning pitcher in game number 1. But taking on Cooper Hums, Toby Huber is really the headliner here. He is leading the league in average right now, has surpassed Alex Peltier and Emilio Gonzalez, who have both held that title in the last week or so. And Derek Almeida at short will bat 3rd, and he is a dynamic offensive bat, also top 10 in a number of categories.
The All-Star game is coming up here at Shirley Povich Field. 12 Big Train are on the North Division roster with 11 Aces playing for the South. We will bring you that broadcast live. It'll be on the Cal Ripken YouTube channel. You can find that there, but it'll be our Big Train crew bringing you the game from Shirley Povich Field, something we are very excited about. But first off, this clash of top teams in the North and South. Michael Deviney starting things off against Cooper Hums.
Hums, like you mentioned, one of those 11 All-Stars with a 786 OPS to his credit.
Deviney kicks and delivers. We're underway with a fastball high at 7:05 p.m. Central, or Eastern time. I'm used to Central time from back at home, but I'm out in Maryland now. Got to get used to it. It's only been a month and a half. Deviney delivers inside to Hums, is down in the count.
I make that mistake occasionally, and I'm from the area. Just go to school in Central time.
Hums stands in the left-handed batter's box against Deviney as the sun blazes down from thin cloud cover over the right center wall. That's grounded foul. We've got the Oriole Bird here today, Eliav, at Shirley Povich Field. Exciting, I'm sure, for many O's fans in attendance. And in the producer's box, Gibson Hurt.
Yeah, Gibson Hurt, a huge O's fan, a Maryland native, a Maryland Terrapin. And, I mean, we got a number of O's fans. You'll hear throughout the stadium, when the national anthem plays, the O will echo from the number of Orioles fans that reside at any given Big Train game. Obviously, we are in Bethesda, and say about 50-50 split in this area between the O's and the Nats.
Davini pops that fastball in the outer half, fills up the count, and here comes the payoff pitch to Cooper Hums from the big right-hander out of Tulane University. Pop fly left field. Moving over is one of the Big Train's 12 All-Stars. Josh Skoronski catches the first out of this ball game.
Of those 12 All-Stars, I believe 5 are in the lineup today. We've got all 3 outfielders, Skoronski, Peltier, and Steele. Brendan Wright is playing short, Gonzalez, and it does look like the lineup says Jacob Hawk was doing the catching. It looks like Dylan Murphy's behind the plate, so make that 6 All-Stars in the lineup for the Big Train today.
Good catch, Eliav. You are exactly right. A late change, switching of the Big Train catchers. First pitch is up and in to the league's average leader, as you mentioned, Eliav, Toby Huber. He's been very good, especially as of late, to vault himself into the top spot.
5-game hit streak in that span. He's 8 of 19.
Fastball at 90 miles an hour, misses outside.
He's first in average. He's also first in on base, just slightly outpacing, or would be slightly outpacing Brett Ott, who has just under the qualifying numbers, but has an OBP of 515 to Huber's 522.
Davini misses up and in. The 6'5 hurler, not an all-star, but has been very solid for the Big Train throughout this campaign, a 4.41 ERA.
I think the most impressive thing from Davini this season is his ability to not allow the big inning. And that's something the Aces do very well, but Davini has not allowed in any of his appearances more than 3 runs to cross the plate. And that was a 4-inning appearance in a game that the Big Train had well in hand. So he's doing a good job of defending against the big inning.
Line drive off the heel of Emilio Gonzalez's glove. That ball was spanked towards the first baseman. Couldn't quite handle it. And scampering over to first base is Huber. That'll be charged as an error to Gonzalez, as Davini couldn't get over to cover in time. He was expecting that to be snagged.
Yeah, and a rarity from Emilio Gonzalez. Just his second error of the season, and he has been maybe the most sure-handed defender for the Big Train. Him or Alex Peltier in center field are the two consistently making above-average plays at their position without turning over errors, and he's so good at fielding ground balls, line drives, and stretching and scooping. Just does everything that the first base position needs, so a little bit shocking.
Laced into left field by Derek Almeida. It's now first and second, and Davini will put that avoidance of the big inning to the test.
Yeah, well, and something that the Aces have done exceptionally well. They put up the 7-run inning to beat the Big Train the lone time that happened this season. They also have multiple, and emphasis on multiple, back-to-back games where they scored 15 runs in a single frame. Coming into that last matchup, they ripped off a 20 and 21 run performance with 15-run innings in both of those games. So the Aces know how to stack runs.
That's off the glove of Murphy and to the backstop, and it's now second and third. Early threat for the visitors from Virginia.
Not a great start, just all around for the Big Train. I mean, Michael Davini goes behind 3-0, battles back against Huber, then an error. We just get a pass ball, just a little bit sloppy on this hot Monday evening.
Thermometer reads 86 degrees, but it's a muggy one here at Shirley Povich Field. Steerike called in the outer half, coming in at 88 miles an hour to Ernie Echeverria. Davini is 14 pitches in, has retired 1 ace. It was the leadoff batter, Cooper Hums. That breaking ball is high.
Echeverria at the plate has been getting a lot more consistent playing time lately. He is hitting just 170, but he has 19 walks to places on base at 420.
He swings and grounds it up the middle towards Brennan Wright in at shortstop today, who flips it over to first base and retires Echeverria, but Toby Huber comes in to score on the RBI groundout, although that run will be unearned. Deviney, last time out, came in on 3 days rest, but popped some ibuprofen, took the arm candy, and threw 5 very solid innings against the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts. He gave up just 3 hits and 2 runs and picked up his second positive decision of the year, making his record 2-0. He yanks the fastball low and away to Gavin Degnan, who recently stopped a very hot streak. Has cooled down just a bit since then. On the year, he's hitting .264 with a .727 OPS. High chopper down the third base line, moving in Logan Panett. Bare hands throws, but it's not going to be in time. Degnan beats it out for an infield hit, nearly a brilliant play for Logan Panett, but instead the second run of the inning has scored.
And that run will also be unearned on the line of Michael Deviney because that previous ground out to Brennan Wright was in the book the third out of the inning, since the E3 would have been out number 2. So 2 unearned runs for Deviney, but needs to really bear down here because understandable that the first 2 runs cross the plate given the error of the pass ball, but anything more is going to put the big train in a deep hole.
The Aces have also been superlative on the pitching side of things recently, making that hole a bit harder to climb out of. Foul ball by E.J. Hankerson. In the month of July, the Aces have a 2.61 ERA, the best in the league.
And that's at the same time that the big train bats have cooled down just a little bit. They are still the best offensive team in the league, and it's not particularly close, but they haven't scored double digits in the month of July, where they were ripping them off every third game.
Runner takes off. The shot from Murphy is not in time. Gavin Degnan swipes second, and a runner in scoring position for the designated hitter Hankerson.
Big Train pitching has also been way better in July, which is why they are able to, could reel off 7 straight wins or 6 straight wins to begin the month. But offensively, it's been not a struggle, but a little quieter. So with combining that with how good the Aces have been on the mound, it's already a tall task, down 2-0 here in the first.
Something that was once rote for the Big Train, scoring 10 runs, has not happened yet in this month. The opening 6 games at the Big Train have played, although they are 6-0 in those 6 games.
And they're finally doing it in close fashion. The whole month of June, the Big Train were winning blowout games and losing close games. But since June 30th, where they went into extra innings against the Braves, every game they've played has finished within 3 runs.
Deviney's 3-1 pitch is popped high in the July sky towards short left field. Moving on in and making the catch. Sans cap is Josh Skaronski. Big Train concede 2 unearned runs in the top of the first. We'll send you to a recap of yesterday's doubleheader with Quincy Bell. Quincy?
The Big Train swept both games of a doubleheader yesterday against the DC Grays, winning 8-5 and 3-0. Russell Peterson was absolutely on fire on the mound to start game 1.
Coils and delivers. Swing and a miss. Tipped into the glove of Jacob Hawk. Striking out the side is Russell Peterson.
The Big Train fell behind due to a couple of errors, but Brennan Wright got the lead back in the 6th with this RBI single.
Here at second, the infield for the Grays moves back in. Right on a line to left. This ball is down. Hawk will score. Peltier will be held at third, and the Big Train have the lead back at 6-5.
Moving over to game 2, Trevor Orth got the start, his first start of the year, pitched 3 clean innings and did not allow a hit.
However, the catcher ERA is 5.78.
Orth gets the fastball in the inner half, and Grace is rung up. 4 strikeouts for Trevor Orth.
The Big Train were able to scrap away a few runs offensively, and Josh Skaronski and Alex Peltier saved the day with a couple of magnificent catches to earn the shutout win.
2. Popped up in the air. Shallow right coming in. Skaronski. He dives and makes the catch. The runner's off of first, but nobody's there. Still a magnificent catch by Josh Skaronski.
This one lines sharply. Peltier coming hard. He lays out and makes a diving catch.
The Big Train look for win number 21 as they inch closer and closer to a division title. Back to you guys in the booth.
Anthony Eli is taking the mound for the Alexandria Aces. He's been very solid over 3 years with the Seton Hall Pirates and has been excellent with the Aces. 8 scoreless innings thrown by the junior from Glenside, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it didn't appear in a game until June 30th. Worked 5 innings of one-hit ball to beat the Grays and earn the win. And then on July 5th, just 2 days ago, worked 3 innings of scoreless ball, struck out 4 and allowed just 2 base runners. So back out there on very short rest.
One of the Big Train's many all-stars steps to the plate to start things off. It's Alex Peltier. Took strike 1 to get it started. This man is hitting .363 with a .450 on-base percentage and has stolen 17 bases, second most in the league. Swings and misses at a heater from Eli.
Peltier's been on base in 12 in a row. He's had particular success against the Aces, hitting .350 with a double and 3 runs batted in.
Breaking ball outside from Eli. The lanky hurler wears his pants pulled up just above his shoe tops with a flash of white sanitary sock and navy blue Aces colors stirrups showing. Swinging a ground ball up the middle, fielded there by Derek Almeida. A strike to first base. Riley Norton stretches off the bag and retires Alex Peltier.
Peltier struck that well. Just right to Derek Almeida, one of the better shortstops in this league.
And his like on the other side, now stepping to the plate, Brennan Wright in the ball game at shortstop today with John Martinez getting the day off. He was ejected in yesterday's contest and has been a bit cool, but Brennan Wright, on the other hand, is scalding hot.
Yeah, Wright is on a 7-game hit streak. That includes 4 multi-hit games and a overall average of .462 with an on-base of .563 in that span.
He takes strike 1 and then fouls off for strike 2 against Eli. Right, hitting .500 in the month of July, best average on the team. Logan Panetta is right behind him at .467. Right, swings and grounds it towards the right side, pulls it over to Toby Huber. And Huber, an easy play for him at the Keystone, and he retires Wright.
A couple of bounce outs from elite hitters in this Big Train lineup. Really good start for Eli, who has been just magnificent. I mean, if he arrives maybe 2 weeks earlier to this season, but the way he's pitched so far, he would also be an all-star for these Aces.
Josh Skoronsky up in the 3-hole, takes ball 1 inside. He's been superlative lately, and from our point of view is robbed for hitter of the week, although Andrew Kell had a very nice 7-day span with only.
Skoronsky put up very similar numbers to Kell, but with the added bonus of a lot more at-bats than Andrew Kell's. Big Train hitters have already won 2 of the Hitter of the Week awards, though.
Skoronsky takes an off-speed pitch outside, but gets rung up on the check swing, so that'll be a strike on him. It's now 1-2. Skoronsky, this is the highest he's hit in the Big Train batting order. Spent a couple games in the cleanup spot recently, now moving up to the 3-hole where he takes ball 2.
We saw Brett Ott hit in the 3-hole yesterday in game 2. A little bit interesting for the Big Train, they've had pretty consistent top of the lineup, but Martinez has really struggled lately, and Peyton Steele as well. So that 3 spot, which is filled by both of them, has had some turnover.
Josh Skaronski punts that up the middle for the first Big Train hit of the day, bringing up Emilio Gonzalez, continuing the run of All-Stars. There's 6 in a row you have to get through in the Big Train lineup today.
6 in a row, and then when the lineup goes to the 9 spot, it's really 7 in a row with Dylan Murphy leading the charge once this lineup turns over.
Dylan Murphy in the 9 hole. The Big Train are 10-0 when Murphy rounds out the lineup. Bright pink lumber of Emilio Gonzalez stays put on the first pitch from Eli. It's low and inside.
Gonzalez has had a little bit of an interesting last few games. He's got multi-hit games in 3 of his last 5, but he is 0 for 9 combined in the other 2.
Lines that the opposite way, and it heads into the Big Train bullpen, where a couple more All-Stars sit. On the pitching side, Kide Atatui, James Gladden, Drew Bellis, and Owen Stewart, who are representing the Northern Circuit in the Midsummer Classic. Gonzalez line drive, base hit into center field, back-to-back knocks straight up the box. Skaronski going first to third. Great base running by the big left fielder. His size belies his pace, and he was thinking third all the way, and when Hums got a bit lackadaisical out there in center, Skaronski puts himself 90 feet from home.
Josh Skaronski maybe has the most understated speed on this team. He flashed it yesterday, as you saw in the recap, with an extraordinary diving catch out in right field. This time just sees that Hums is just sitting back on his heels and takes advantage, and now a wild pitch or a pass ball will score Skaronski.
Some big guys at Skaronski's size look like they're running in flip-flops, not the man who's playing left field today. Here is Matt Wesley, today's designated hitter. He takes a strike to even up the count at 1-1. Another guy who's been very good. The only true utility man on this Big Train roster, has filled up a lot of spots.
He's played first, third, left, right. He's DHing today. He's been in that role and has earned it with the way he swung the bat. He's done everything that Colangelo has asked of him. Really the only guy. We've seen Peyton Steele play first once, but otherwise Wesley, or twice after coming in for Martinez yesterday. But Wesley's really the only guy that has played both infield and outfield for this team, which has been invaluable.
And not many utility men can brag about being third in the league in OPS and leading it in extra base hits with 11. But here he takes strike 3, caught looking, and Anthony Eli continues his trend of 0 ERA by stranding 2 runners in the bottom of the first. The Alexandria Aces lead by 2 after the first frame here at Shirley Povich Field. Aces hopped on top in the beginning of this ball game and look to expand here in the top of the second with the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters facing Michael DeVinny.
DeVinny needs to settle down. I mean, the 2 runs kind of doesn't represent how he pitched that inning. One of the hits was an infield single, and one of the runners who reached and scored was on an error. But in a hole, 2-0, with Eli looking sharp for the most part on the mound. Got to hold the lead here.
DeVinny facing the left-handed hitting Michael Powell to start this inning, and the changeup drops out and gets a big whiff. And that changeup is a big reason why lefties are hitting just 200 against them. It's a devastating weapon against that side of the plate.
Yeah, best changeup I think we've seen for the Big Train this season. He's able to move it around, put it up in the zone, low in the zone, inside, outside with pinpoint control.
Goes back to the change of pace. That one low again, but this time held off by Powell, manning the hot corner today for the visitors from Alexandria.
And another one of their all-stars.
Powell swings and keys that away. Still 1-2. On the season, the infielder from Pennsylvania, well, from the school Pennsylvania, from Alexandria itself, hometown kid, is hitting .261 with a triple to his name. He's been hit by 5 pitches. Grounds it right towards Brennan Wright. Fields on the low hop and soft tosses it over to Emilio Gonzalez. Another ground ball smothered by the shortstop Wright.
That's called having the scouting report. Brennan Wright was playing pretty far up the middle, and it paid off where he didn't have to move one step in either direction, just went down to a knee as he so often does, and was able to field it right between his legs.
Not much in the scouting report for John Colligan, it seems, because the Big Train are playing about as straight up as you can for a right-handed hitter. Colligan, another fella from the hometown, Alexandria, Virginia native, who plies his trade at Ball State.
Colligan with one of the more interesting lines you'll ever see for a season. He appeared in 42 games for the Ball State Cardinals, but did not start a single one. He only had 18 at-bats, 20 plate appearances all told. So a lot of defensive replacements and pinch running appearances.
Well, he has stolen 9 bases for the Aces this summer. He fouls that away. And he's flashed a plus glove out there in the corners when we've seen him.
So you've already gotten, or top 2, you've already slipped in bases for the Aces and high July sky. You are a rhyming fiend out here.
Rhyming couplets and triplets. And they're never intended. I'm not a poet. And I do know it.
Oh, come on. That was forced.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm not a poet.
Cut.
Cut.
Take 2.
I got a B-, I think, in my English literature poetry unit.
That's a passing grade.
It is a passing grade, but as soon as I turned in the project, I immediately deleted the document it was on. Never wanted to look at it again. Some very sophomoric stuff on there. And even then, as a sophomore, I knew it.
I was going to say, were you a sophomore?
Yeah. So I guess it's fitting, but it was. I knew it was bad. Just had to turn something in. Michael DeVinny has to turn something into the zone here in the 3-2 count, not wanting to put on the 8-hitter. He induces a ground ball foul with Logan Panett playing a bit off the line against Colligan. He looks like he might take a half step towards third base for this next pitch, reading the cue.
Panett likes to play his position deep and off the line and cover a lot of ground to his glove side.
Swinging a foul the other way, so no one knows what to think about where John Colligan's going with this baseball. 2 fastballs in a row in 2 wildly different directions.
Yeah, well, a good hitter is able to put the ball all over the field. Go foul line to foul line, they call it. Colligan has gone outside the foul line to outside the other foul line.
Off-speed pitch is a ball. The first walk of tonight's game is to John Colligan by Michael DeVinny.
And did not get a chance to go between the foul lines. Davini just left a spinner low.
Here is Riley Norton. This is a guy who has struggled to get his swing going this year.
And Norton this season hitting just a $132, and the leading stat is his 23 strikeouts in 38 at-bats.
That is the most strikeouts in the Cal Ripken League, despite not playing a whole lot of baseball. He's a big guy with a big swing. He had one of the hardest hit balls that I've seen all year. Hit a baseball 107, but it was foul.
Against the big train, he's struggled especially. He's 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts. The only time he's been on bases via hit by pitch.
Takes a wicked bender from Michael Davini. Good spit by Norton. That was just below the zone. A tough call for the umpire, and the correct one based on our TrackMan 3D strike zone. Pickoff over to first base. Colligan was leaning, but he does a Superman dive back into the base. Fitting. It is superhero night here at the ballpark after all.
Who's your favorite superhero?
That is a very good question, and not one that I have the answer to right now. I've got to think about it, and I will get back to you.
I also have to think about mine, to be clear. So we'll come back to that at some point.
1-1 is outside. It's now 2 balls and a strike to Norton.
Now Panette. For Norton, he's really far off the line. He's almost playing the deep hole at shortstop.
They're really conceding that line to Norton, and they're not really shading the rest of their infield the other way. It's really just Panette. You can certainly kind of rule out the bunt with Norton, though.
And that allows you to play Panette over and then stick Brennan Wright in kind of prime double play position without conceding a ground ball through that 5-6 hole.
Just a bit high from Davini. Back-to-back walks brings up the top of the lineup, Cooper Hums.
And not what Davini would have wanted to, or was trying to do. You know, you got the 8-9 in the lineup after retiring Powell. You walk them both, especially Riley Norton specifically. Colligan hasn't been bad at the plate, but Norton has really struggled. And now you have to go back to the top, and as we've talked about, All-Star, All-Star, All-Star are the next 3 up.
Davini, coming into this game, had walked 9 guys in 16 1/3 innings. Not terrible numbers, but not incredible. Strikes out a batter per inning, though, on average. Has a positive walk-to-K ratio, which some guys in the Cal Ripken League do not have, but certainly like to cut down on the free pass just a bit. Facing Hums now, who flew out to Josh Skaronski back in the first last inning. Takes a strike here at 87 through the sinker at the hip of Hums, and it ran right away and caught the front door. That's a pitch you can command as a righty or any opposite-handed pitcher to an opposite-handed batter. The front door sinker can be a very nice weapon for you.
Yeah, as a hitter, it looks like it's coming to hit you or run inside right into your hip or your leg, and then suddenly it bends back in. And if you think about swinging, a lot of the time you get sawed off. That's where you get a lot of broken bats are on pitches like that. And if you take, like Hums did, it's in the zone, and you get a strike to lead off your batter if you're Davini.
Late career Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals was a master of that sort of pitch. Changeup grounded up the middle, scoots by Parker Corbin, moving in Alex Peltier. He bobbles it, and that's going to allow John Colligan to score. It's 3-0 Aces.
That ball just snuck through up the middle. Parker Corbin shaded a little farther to the right than he was in the previous at-bat against Norton, and it cost him. Because if he is maybe 2 steps farther to his right and closer up the middle, that's a tailor-made double play ball. Instead, an RBI single.
Aces already lead by 3 runs with 1 out in the top of the second. Davini misses with a fastball. The Big Train did come back from a 3-run deficit against the Aces just yesterday in game number 1.
Yeah, that was in the bottom of the 6th inning of a 7-inning game. They were down 5-3.
Taylor made double play ball 4-6-3, the 20th twin killing of the Big Train season, and they limit the damage to 1 run on 1 hit in the top of the 2nd. We'll send you to a look at the Cal Ripken League standings as we stand today on July 7th.
We give you now a standings update around the Cal Ripken League. The Big Train, the first team to 20 wins. They sit at 20-6, a 4.5 game lead over the only crop dusters for the lead of the division. That's who the Big Train will play tomorrow. Silver Spring has had a rough go of it lately. They have lost 7 in a row. They've kind of fallen out of the conversation for the division title. Gaithersburg, a season to forget. They sit at just 6-21. The South Division looks pretty interesting. The Aces at 14-9. That's who the Big Train are taking on right now. They have a 1-game lead over the Senators. The DC Grays, who got swept by the Big Train yesterday in a doubleheader, they've fallen a little bit behind the pace at 2.5 games back. These 3 have been in a real big fight the entire year. The South County Braves also bringing up the rear at 7-18. Most notably, the Big Train's magic number to clinch the playoffs is 3. What that means is the closest team to them that's not in a playoff spot, the Braves. The Big Train could clinch the playoffs with either 3 wins or 3 Metro SoCo losses, or a combination of the 2.
Sun out in right center field is dipping lower and lower, edging toward the tree line here at Shirley Povich Field. On this muggy summer evening, the Bethesda Big Train will have to erase a 3-run mark from the Alexandria Aces, who jumped out to an early lead on the road.
And Peyton Steele's a guy that they would love to get going again. He's just 2 for 18 in the month of July. And after picking up at least 1 run or RBI in his first 18 games, he has not picked up either in his last 3.
And he's a little frustrated at the plate right now. Showed when he fouled out to conclude his day in game 1 of yesterday's twin bill. A little frustration as he headed back towards the dugout. Trying to unleash that frustration on the cork-wrapped leather here today. And he's got a good count to do it. It's 3-0.
Here's the thing, even with Steele struggling and he's hitting lowest in the lineup he's been all year, the team is 19-2 when he plays and just 1-4 when he does not.
That's a strike taken, and now it's time for Steele to unleash one of those big swings, one of the hardest hitters in the team. Exit velocity is in the mid-100s. That's a soft pop into short center field. Moving back is Huber, in is Hums. Hums takes charge out there in the Bermuda Triangle, and it hangs up long enough for the center fielder to move in and retire the Bethesda right fielder.
He's been doing a lot of that lately, just dipping the shoulder a little bit and then dipping the bat head as a result, and just getting under the ball. He's had a lot of pop-ups on the infield, a lot of soft fly balls into the outfield. When he did get a hold of one of his 2 hits in July was a mashed 3-run home run in Olney. But it's been a lot of just soft serve pop-ups, which are, as a defense, just a gift. The easiest thing you can do is catch a softly hit fly ball.
1-0 to Logan Panett, who, for as cold as Steele has been, he has been hot, hitting .467 in the month of July with 6 RBI, including a 4-hit day against Gaithersburg on the 5th. Swings and hits a 3-hopper over to Almeida. The native of Rancho Cucamonga sets down Logan Panett.
Well, the key for Panett is taking walks. To start his season, he worked 8 walks in his first 9 games and was hitting the cover off the ball. Then he went a 9-game span without taking a walk, hit just 194. But in his last 3 games, he's 6 for 10 and has walked in 2 of those games. So starting to be a little more patient again at the plate, and it's paying dividends.
Speaking of walks, here is the Big Train's walk king. Parker Corbin has earned 21 free passes on the year, including yesterday going 0 for 0 with 3 walks. He goes fishing early and pops it up towards his opposite side. Moving over is the third baseman, makes the catch on the gravel warning track. That's Powell. 1, 2, 3 go the Big Train in the second. Further out the rest of this game, we'll highlight all of the Big Train players who are making the trip to the All-Star game. The short trip here, it's here at Shirley Povich Field, and we'll begin now.
Make sure to join us here on July 9th for the Caribbean League All-Star Game.
The league's best players will be on display in a star-studded affair.
Tim Kirkchin will be in attendance, so make sure to get your tickets before they sell out.
It'll be the North Division versus the South Division, and you can get your tickets at bigtrain.org/tickets. That's bigtrain.org/tickets. Kide Adatui will be representing the Big Train in the Caribbean League All-Star Game. The FAU product has been magnificent this year. He has only given up one earned run and has pitched his last 17 innings scoreless. He has a .47 ERA on the season. The FAU Owl has been absolutely magnificent. Good luck, Kide, in the All-Star Game and the rest of this season.
Join the Bethesda Big Train at Lido Pizza for a fundraiser to support the ball club tomorrow between 5 and 9 p.m. Head to Lido Pizza at 10301 Westlake Drive and pick up a delicious pie. Use code fundraiser on your online order or mention you're here for the Big Train fundraiser in person, and 20% of the proceeds will go to your Bethesda Big Train. Great chance to support your favorite ball club.
Jackson, as an out-of-towner, I got to pose this question to you. Have you ever had Lido Pizza?
I have not had Lido Pizza. Should I have Lido Pizza?
You should. It's worth trying. I wouldn't say it's the...
That's swung on and headed out to center field. Alex Peltier is there. I think it looked a little bit better off the bat to you, Eliav. You thought you might need to halt.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like the pinnacle of pizza. However, it is very good. It's a local chain, and it's pretty unique. They serve you the pizza. They cut it into squares, and they're pretty small squares. So a given pie will come with about 25 or so small slices of pizza. So it's really good. A lot of the times I've had it, at least it's been as like in a party setting where they'll get a bunch of pies and then people will just take little squares, because sometimes you don't want to order 4 pizzas where there's just 24 slices for a group of 40 people. So instead you get 100 slices, and then everyone's able to have 2 or 3 smaller ones.
Now, I got to ask you, what do you think about pineapple on pizza?
I do not enjoy pineapple on pizza at all.
I don't want to be one of those guys that just hates on pineapple, but I also do not like pineapple on pizza. I feel like it's sort of overhated, but I want my pizza to be savory.
Yeah, pineapple on pizza just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, a Hawaiian-style pizza is also served with ham, and I don't eat ham, so I've never been able to have like a true Hawaiian-style pizza. Maybe it tastes better with that savory aspect savory element added. There we go. But it doesn't make any sense to me on a pizza where you're going to have cheese and tomatoes and then also the very sweet pineapple.
One of the great debates of our age, pineapple, although it feels like there's one side that outnumbers the other, and it's the side Eliav and I are on. Set into left center field again, but Alex Peltier tracks it down like a fox, like a dog on a fox's trail. Alex Peltier hunts him down in center field.
Yeah, I mean, this guy can cover ground in any direction. It's so impressive. A lot of times outfielders will have kind of a primary, either they're better at going to their left, their right, in, or back. Alex Peltier, doesn't matter what direction he's going, he's quick off the bat. He has a burst of speed, and he's going to track the ball down.
Here is Gavin Degnan after Almeida and Echeverria fly out to start the inning. Michael DeVinny has thrown 51 pitches as he looks to settle into this game and hopefully get through 4 or 5. Has picked up 4 outs through the last 3 batters he has faced. A tailor-made double play and 2 lazy fly balls. Degnan had an RBI single last time up and chops this one past a diving Logan Panette for his 2nd hit of the day.
This one struck a little more solidly than the first one, which was a high chopper on the infield that Panette had to barehand. This time, Panette nearly makes another extraordinary play. First time, clean barehand throw is a step late. This time, full extension. Gets a glove on it. Not able to come up with it.
Panette, one of the smaller third basemen you'll see, but that means he's quick over there. Has quite a bit of range at the third sack. Here's outfielder and today's DH, E.J. Hankerson. He's plenty fast in his own right. Takes a slider to start his plate appearance.
Hankerson has struggled this season. He's hitting just a $186 with 1 extra base hit.
Line drive left center, another hit for the Aces. This one from Hankerson, the UMD product. It's the 5th hit for the visitors.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of just getting bats to ball. DeVinny's sinker is not a super easy pitch to hit. That one super well located on the outside corner, but Hankerson just able to throw his hands out there and flare it over Brennan Wright's head.
This already ties a season high of hits allowed for Michael DeVinny. DeVinny, one of the more hit-prone pitchers on the Big Train staff. Allows a .314 average against coming into today. Fastball inside to Michael Powell. DeVinny's job now is to keep his team in the ballgame. Can do that here by concluding this frame without further damage. He might do just that. Grounded towards Parker. Corbin fields on the lip of the grass, and he sets down lefty Michael Powell. 2 2-out hits do no damage. They are both left on by Michael DeVinny. The Aces still lead by 3 after 2.5.
Emilio Gonzalez leads the Big Train with a .373 batting average. The big first baseman has made the All-Star team this year. He also leads the league with 25 runs scored. Gonzalez has been a fixture in the middle of the Big Train lineup, has helped them to their 20-6 record, and is playing in the All-Star game on Wednesday. Good luck to Emilio in the game and the rest of his season.
Alongside Eliav Brooks Rubin, I'm Jackson Corcoran. You're watching the Big Train Baseball Network. Gibson Hurt is manning the 1s and 2s in the producer's booth alongside Caroline Smith, our graphic designer, and Quincy Bell, our fellow broadcaster.
It's a crowded booth today.
But Gibby's hard to stay away from. Gregarious presence here at the Kirkland Media fellow team. Here is Dylan Murphy, the Big Train catcher. A high chopper foul fielded by Echeverria out of play. But my favorite Dylan Murphy stat has to be this. When you look pure eye test, Jacob Hawk appears to maybe be the better defensive catcher. But with Dylan Murphy behind the plate, Big Train pitchers have thrown to a 3.42 ERA. In this high offense league, that's pretty incredible. It speaks to how he handles the staff.
Yeah, it's about a run better than the league-leading Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts team ERA.
Darn good hitter, too, as he fouls that one away. He's a bit cold as of late, but still hitting over 300 on the season at 326. He's got a pair of extra base hits to go with it and just 4 strikeouts.
2 of those coming on Thursday and only.
Doesn't strike out here, but he will be retired. Line drive to Gavin Degnan is snared. There's 1 away, and that's now 5 in a row set down by Eli.
Eli sharpened up after a couple of 2-out singles back in the first. We'll see if the second time through the lineup can do a little more damage than the first. Big Train bats uncharacteristically quiet through 2 in the third.
After those early hits, Eli has locked in and figured out this Big Train lineup, but now it returns to the top, flips over to Alex Peltier. Peltier grounded out early to Almeida in his last at-bat and fouls it off his foot here and trickles towards the Big Train dugout. That one sails outside into the mitt of Echeverria on this calm summer night in Maryland. You can hear the beautiful onomatopoeia of a baseball game sounding clearly. The cracks, the pops, all the sounds that make baseball the most beautiful sport there is. That ball pops into the mitt inside, out of the zone to Peltier, who now has a 3-1 count. Ball 4 to Alex Peltier, a man you do not want to walk, especially after retiring 5 guys in a row. Here is Brennan Wright, who looks to extend his league best on-base streak.
Yeah, reached in 24 in a row. He's played in 24 games, so that is every single game that he's been in, he's been on. He has struggled, though, against the Aces, just barely keeping that streak alive, just 1 for 11. Does have 5 walks in 3 games against the Aces, but hits have not come against Alexandria.
Walk-up song is GOMD by J. Cole. Could be GOBP because Brennan Wright is excellent at getting on base. That is his foremost skill. Just shy of 500 is his on-base percentage.
5th in the league, and his recent 7-game hit streak and 12 hits in that span have vaulted him from was a pretty middle-of-the-pack average on the team to now 5th in the league in average as well as on base, and tied atop the league in hits.
Throw down to second base with Peltier stealing. It's his 18th theft of the year. The Pirate goes marauding on the high seas once again and comes back with the plunder second base.
I see what you did there. That was pretty. That was pretty good. As much as I love to hate on your puns and wordplay, that was. Can't complain.
You have to say, though, looking at Peltier, he does have a swashbuckling style out there in the field and privateer-like facial hair as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the look about him really makes you. It really would be at home aboard a ship. Just the long lankiness, the way he moves, very smooth. Feels like he would have good sea legs.
I could see Peltier scuttling around on the rigging, holding on to the crow's nest. Land ho, says Alex Peltier. He hopes to land at home with Brennan Wright at the plate. Wright has driven in 18 runners this year. Flashing towards second base is the shortstop Almeida. The pickoff throw is way late. Peltier scampers his way back to the bag, standing up. Right, authored a ground out back in the first. Lines it into right center field here. That's carrying out towards the track. Moving back is Hums. He closes the glove on it, but Alex Peltier tags and moves to third. He's 90 feet away for Josh Skaronski.
Yeah, Peltier, so heady on the base paths, always understanding his angles, understanding when a ball is deep enough for him to tag, which is pretty much always with his speed. Brennan Wright put a charge into that one. He's not a big power guy, just 3 extra base hits on the season. Got that one all the way to the warning track, and now up to Skaronski to begin this climb back into the ballgame for the Big Train.
Ball inside to Skaronski. He singled sharply up the middle in inning number 1. Goes back up the middle, shatters the bat, and a behind-the-back play by Anthony Eli. Wow, what a snag by the big right-hander, and he is all smiles heading back to the dugout. High-fives his catcher Echeverria as he holds on to a 3-0 Aces lead. Eliav Brooks Rubin will tell you about the middle innings when we return on the Big Train Baseball Network.
At the top of the lineup, it's no surprise Alex Peltier is in the All-Star game. The Speed Demon is top 3 in average. He's second in stolen bases, and he plays Gold Glove center field every day for every inning.
Michael Davini coming off his first scoreless frame. He will take on the bottom of this lineup, Colligan and Norton, before it turns over to Hums. Walked both the 8 and 9 hitters in this lineup. See if he does a better job the second time around. John Colligan, the first man to the plate here in the 4th. And he rifles the first pitch into center field. Peltier pushing back on the track and makes a running grab.
And that is a tougher play than it looks because it's straight behind Alex Peltier. That's one of the toughest grabs you can have as an outfielder because you have to track it. Well, again, running straight back, when you're able to go at an angle, you can easily keep that head cocked towards the ball. But when you're heading 90 degrees due north, it can be difficult, but Peltier tracks it well and makes the catch at the base of the wall.
Davini's first offering to Norton is low for ball 1.
If he's able to get Norton here, it's a huge boon after he walked Colligan and Norton last time. 2 guys that throughout the year have bought drinks and flirted with the Mendoza line. Norton well below it at the time of writing. But you can retire these 2 guys and bring up a very good hitter in Cooper Hums with nobody out or nobody on and 2 outs. It's a much better look.
A little bit of a stretch to say Norton's even flirted with it. Flies one into right. Steele had to turn around, but makes a twisting grab on the warning track for out number 2. More like Norton's admired the Mendoza line from afar. and not in the direction that he would have hoped.
Cooper Holmes well clear of that ignominious mark, hitting 280 on the year with a excellent on-base percentage. The Western Michigan Bronco from Mishawaka, Indiana, has earned his spot on the All-Star team.
As an RBI single in this contest, but takes strike one on the outside corner.
I would like to ask Quincy Bell if I said Mishawaka, Indiana correctly. Got a big thumbs up from our Indiana native. Good to hear.
Vinny's 0-1. Left way high on the changeup, just didn't get it right out of the hand.
There was a real tough Pennsylvania town the other day, and I was very gratified to hear Jason Malika, our public address announcer, texting us later and saying that we got it right, because I was very worried about the denizens of that town coming for me.
Do you remember the town?
I do not, but I know I got it right and then immediately got it wrong and then got it right again.
Okay. 2 for 3.
2 for 3. That's a good day at the plate. Better than a lot of days I've had in my career.
I don't know, Mr. 1,000 career OBP.
I'll tell you the story of that 1,000 career OBP. I've been essentially a pitcher only in college for 3 years. Have hit at times, have taken BP and whatnot, and have one plate appearance. I had 5 pitches in the dirt thrown to me, and I only swung at one of them.
That's a good score. This one not in the dirt, and Hums swings at it. Popped up on the infield. Parker Corbin secures a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Big Train. Michael Deviney has settled down. He's through 4, but the Big Train bats have to get going when we come back.
University of Central Florida product Drew Bellis will be making an appearance in the Cal Ripken League All-Star Game. The left-hander sophomore has 47 strikeouts this year. That is by far the most in the Cal Ripken League. He has pitched to a 2.66 ERA, and we wish him the best of luck the rest of his season. The Big Train ace has been magnificent this year.
Slate of All-Stars coming to the plate, and we just saw or heard about Drew Bellis, who's been maybe the most impressive pitcher for the Big Train.
Drew Bellis flashes that gigawatt smile and an effervescent presence around the proverbial clubhouse. No actual such building exists at Shirley Povich Field, but if there were, he'd be the talk of the institution. Bellis, a fun guy to talk to when you get the chance.
He was up here earlier today in the press box going over pitch grips and spin rates, just trying to work on that changeup. He's lamenting, as good as he's been, that his fastball and changeup never seem to be good at the same time or on the same day. Good news is his slider and his curveball are always fantastic, and he has used those to record 47 strikeouts in just 23 2/3 innings pitched.
He has 22 more strikeouts than the pitcher with the second most Ks in the league.
Gonzalez gets into one, but it's hooking foul. That ball was cranked into the stratosphere. Just turned a little too early on it. One-two pitch. Grounded to first base. Staying down on it is Norton, and he'll take it himself for out number 1.
The Bethesda Big Train have struck out just once today. That's indeed the only strikeout by either team in today's game. In 14 innings played yesterday, Big Train K'd up just 4 times. Their MO is putting the ball in play, but sometimes you can get a little overeager against a guy like Eli, who really wants you to put the ball in play. He is a soft contact merchant, and I mean that as a compliment.
And sometimes against a lineup like the Big Train, leaving some soft serve stuff over the plate is not the way to go. But Eli has really had it working, has only walked the one batter, and has really shut down this Big Train lineup. And it's, as we've talked about at length all year long, not a Big Train lineup made up of John Does and Chad Smiths. These guys are 7 All-Stars hitting today. There are one more on the bench in Brett Ott, and they have easily cleared any other offense this season in the Cal Ripken League, and that's the main reason they're 20-6.
You mentioned in July, while still winning ball games, the offense has cooled somewhat.
Bouncer to second base, easy work for Toby Huber for out number 2.
When we talk about the Big Train offense cooling, it's like thrusting, a red-hot blacksmithed metal into the water. It's still pretty darn hot when you pull it out, but it's quenched to a degree.
Just a little bit. They put up just 3 runs on 2 hits in game number 2 yesterday. However, the pitching staff combined for the first team shutout of the season. Peyton Steele waves at a pitch way in off the plate.
And that's a swing of a hitter who's searching at the plate a little bit. You know the raw talent that's in this guy's bat, but you've mentioned the struggle. He's now 2 for his last 19.
Fouls away, strike 2.
But he's an all-star for a reason. A consummate run producer for this Big Train team. On the year, has 21 RBI and 22 runs scored.
0-2 pitch off the plate. A lot of that's because of that gap-to-gap approach that Steele has, tied with Wesley atop the Cal Ripken League in doubles with 9. He's always liable to slam one to the wall.
But that right there is an encouraging take, because Steele still fired the hips. He's ready to hit, but took it without even really checking his swing, and that's a swing a lot of cold guys take at the eye-high fastball.
Steele stays alive with a chopper foul. Especially after the swing he put on pitch 1 of this at-bat, which was in the same spot at his eyes, but also off the plate inside. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Anthony Eli looking to work through 4 clean innings. Won't happen on this pitch.
Steele has walked 13 times on the year, looking to earn, and it would be earn a walk this time. Sometimes you get handed a walk, but if he draws ball 4, this one would be earned.
Payoff pitch. This one is lined softly into left. Coming on and making the catch is John Colligan, a 1-2-3 fourth. And the Big Train still trail 3-0 when we go to the 5th.
Dylan Murphy is hitting .326 with just 4 strikeouts this year, the best strikeout rate on the year, and has played sterling defense behind the plate for the Big Train. The team is 10-2 in games that he catches, and his catcher ERA is below 3.5. Murphy has been excellent this year, has earned himself an all-star berth, and will look to help lead the Big Train behind the plate for the rest of the year.
Anthony Eli has worked 4 scoreless on just 1 day's rest after pitching 3 scoreless on July 5th. He did throw only 37 pitches, but has thrown 59 here today. And we are thinking his day might be done.
It's a bustling bullpen for the Aces. Every time you look over there, there's 6, 7 more guys getting up and moving around. They're active, maybe replacing, hopefully for our sake, replacing Eli.
Well, Eli's been fantastic. Davini's settled down, gets a first pitch out on a pop out to right field by the dangerous Toby Huber.
Davini has worked well against Huber today. He's 0 for 3, lined that ball in the first to Gonzalez quite sharply, but it should have been an out, and then induced a ground ball double play and that soft pop.
Derek Almeida bats for the 3rd time. He's got a single and a run. Squares to bunt, but yanks it back for ball 1.
But going back to Eli, it's almost one of those outings where you're like, shoot, you had to pitch like this today when you're on a pitch count, you know, from the Aces coaching staff's perspective, because Eli's been very, very good, and you want to stretch him out as long as possible, but he probably has just a bit of a shorter leash than a starter would normally have.
Yeah, and probably a situation where, you know, you're almost certainly not normally going to use him on just 1 day's rest after throwing 3 innings. But against a team like the Big Train, Eli's been so dominant in his 2 appearances this season. They want to see what they could get out of him, and they have gotten fantastic innings.
This is an Aces team that's trying to turn a tremulous grip into a stranglehold in the South Division. They are a game up on the Senators with 2 games in hand. They have the same amount of wins, but 2 less losses.
Line drive into right field, Steele charging hard, but he will field it on a bounce. Almeida is 2 for 3.
It's textbook hitting from the sophomore wearing number 1, sophomore shortstop wearing number 1. Bends down and gets a fastball at the bottom part of the zone, sees it deep, watches it across the plate, and hammers it into left at 90 miles an hour. And into right. That was a poor bit of analysis.
We all get our left and rights mixed up from time to time. Ernie Echeverria bats from the left, no right side of the plate. And takes ball 1. Echeverria, an interesting season with the 170 average, but the 420 on base. Against the Big Train, he appeared in both halves of the doubleheader. At the time was hitting just .077. Went 1 for 3 on the day with 5 walks, and has himself his first hit of today's game with a sharply lined single in the left.
Guys are seeing Davini pretty well today. No extra base hits, but a lot of well-struck singles. That one nearing 100 miles an hour off the bat. I think it's in large part because Davini hasn't been able to get the slider working at the peak of its powers today. And so guys can really wait for a fastball in the zone. Even though Davini's fastball is a good pitch, has a lot of ride on and at pretty high velocity, a lot of run, it still can be run into.
Well, Gavin Degnan's run into it a couple of times. He's got 2 hits, including an RBI single in the first. Chance to do some damage here with the Aces already leading the Big Train 3-0. Davini stares into center. Now comes home for strike 1.
It's a great pitch. Fastball on the outer half. A guy that's pulled both of his hits today. A high chopper and a sharp ground ball through the 5-6 hole. So pound him away and force him to change his approach.
1-1. Bouncer right back to Davini. Fields and decides to go just to first base. Looked like he might have had a play at second, but just takes the easy out. So 2 away, but 2 runners now in scoring position.
Obviously, your first priority is always getting an out on a play like that, but he had a double play, absolutely. He had a great chance to go to second, turn 2 there, but some pitchers just don't feel confident coming off the mound and spinning and going to second base. So if Davini had even the slightest hint of doubt in his mind that he might throw the pitch away, it's smarter to take the sure out at first because, as they say in Frank Herbert's Dune, fear is the mind killer, and that's true even on the baseball field.
Well, it happened yesterday in the Big Train's favor, where the Grays in that 5-run 6th inning had the Big Train had first and second, nobody out, with Alex Bergen on the mound. And he elected to throw to third on a bunt attempt, threw it past the third baseman, This one scalded into left, pushing Skaronski back. He's at the track at the wall and makes a catch. Josh Skaronski had to run a long ways to secure out number 3. So Michael Davini's decision to go to first pays off after he gets the third out. Big Train still trail 3-0. We're halfway home.
Josh Skaronski, the big outfielder, the only man in the Cal Ripken League with multiple extra base hits in the doubles, triples, and home runs category. No surprise that his big bat and speed are in the All-Star game.
Much to our surprise, Anthony Eli back out for a 5th inning of work. His arm, Jackson, must be made of the same rubber as a toilet plunger. It cleans up messes, it's resilient, and it does whatever it needs to do, and that means staying out for a 5th inning on just 1 day's rest.
And that's where being a pitch-to-contact guy comes in handy, because it means his delivery is not necessarily the highest of effort ones, because he's trying to throw strikes, and it also means that he's getting out of at-bats in quick counts and not running up that pitch count.
Well, it gets ahead to Logan Panett, always the key to working quick counts, which he's done very successfully today. Panett bounces one foul, so quickly 0-2 on the Big Train's 7-hitter.
But Eli had thrown 60 pitches, now at 62, through his first 4 innings of work, right at the golden ticket number for pitchers of 15 tosses an inning.
Looking to work through 5 and put himself in position for a win. Has to get through the bottom of the lineup and strikes out Logan Panett to start it off.
Just a disappearing breaking ball on the outer half. What a pitch that is. Absolutely no chance for Logan Panett. And fastball, got 2 quick strikes and then an absolute beauty to retire the Big Train third baseman.
Now Parker Corbin popped up in foul territory to the third baseman Michael Powell last time up. Big Train still making their second trek through the order here in the bottom of the 5th. Alexandria most of the way through their third time.
Corbin is hitless in his last 5 games, has been on base a total of 8 times through those contests, all by walks.
Well, 1 pitch away from another walk here. Doesn't have a hit in that span, but the 421 on base because of the walks. 3-0 is in the zone for strike 1.
You need him making contact again because he's got power in that bat of his. A tightly coiled athlete at the plate, can pull a ball with authority, has 3 doubles and 2 homers on the year, third on the team.
3-1 pitch on the outside corner, but just misses. Parker Corbin aboard with a walk, just the second time that Eli has issued a free pass today. Dylan Murphy, who is looking to get right entering the, I'll say, All-Star game, since it's not really a break. Big Train are on the road tomorrow at the Only Crop Dusters, which is where they were just this past Thursday in a 6-3 victory. They will play Tuesday in Olney. Wednesday is the All-Star game, and then back in action Thursday. Ground ball right side, fielded onto short, onto first, but pulls Norton off the bag. An errant throw by Derek Almeida after a quick turn by Huber, so 2 away. Dylan Murphy's safe.
It was always going to be a tough double play to turn, but it was really nicely done by Huber at second, delivering that little dart throw, sidearm, right to the chest of Almeida. Almeida's throw was just slightly imperfect, as he had to try and hum it over to first baseman Norton. And it would be a tough stretch, but I think if he perfectly times his step off the bag, Norton could have retired Murphy there, but it extends the inning back to the top for Peltier anyways.
Peltier squaring a bunt. He bunts for hits so well. And Michael Powell was already playing on the cut of the grass in preparation.
That often doesn't matter. The positioning of the third baseman has not proved an impediment to the speedy Peltier when bunting. Just so quick and so good with his bat control on his bunts that he often can get on no matter the situation.
Peltier, foul tip back to the screen. Now, we often have seen him, if he starts a day 0 for 2, maybe 0 for 3, he will just square around a bunt, lay one down, and just like that, he's on the board with a hit. One and one the count. Eli delivers. Grounded to short Almeida to the backhand. He slides and does not have a throw. Slipped up on the grass. So an infield hit for Alex Peltier. And Brennan Wright to the plate.
Peltier's one of those guys where you almost have to think about getting the ball second. You have to think about where you are when you get the ball first. Because if you go to any part of your body, you know, you go to your knee, go to slide against Peltier, you're not popping up in time to throw him out. So I think Almeida there almost has to try and field that standing up, even if it makes it a way tougher play to glove, because that's the only way your throw is going to be on time.
Brennan Wright, bouncer to second, skips over Huber, a crazy hop. Dylan Murphy rounding third and scoring. Alex Peltier on his way to third, and a very lucky bounce for the big train to get on the board for the first time here in the fifth.
Shirley Povich Field gifts its favorite denizens a run there because, I mean, that hop is absolutely unplayable. No chance for Huber to knock it down. It went from heading for his knee to over his right shoulder. I mean, that is a tough, tough play to deal with. It's almost one that you can't really call an error. I don't know. I think it would be perfectly fair to call one because he was right over it, but it's just an impossible play.
No. Scoring goes down as a hit, so an RBI single for Brennan Wright, and that extends his on-base streak to 25 games.
And that's a tough play to score. You have to say that because by many rights it should be an error because it's a play that he's right over it, but you have to have a bit of sympathy for Huber in that spot because, again, that hop is just impossible.
Yeah, that's just there's really nothing you can do about that. And I agree with the scoring of an error. I think even if he gets a glove on it, just with the ricochet that ball took. But certainly the fact that he didn't make any contact with it adds to the ease of decision. Josh Skaronski bats with runners on the corners and 2 away.
The Cincinnati and Huber is also a pretty sure-handed guy, just 3 errors in his 15 games played. That's something you think he'll knock down if it stays on plane as expected.
2-1 pitch, Skaronski right side and through, an RBI single for Josh Skaronski. Brennan Wright moving the legs. He goes first to third, tag applied in time. A rocket of a throw from Gavin Degnan for the third out, but Alex Peltier's run will count, and the lead is cut to 3-2.
These have been almost impossible to hit when Owen Stewart is on the mound. The big train closer has shut down 3 saves this year, and in 14.2 innings out of the bullpen, he has yet to allow an earned run. He is definitely the leader so far for the Reliever of the Year award. Good luck, Owen, on the rest of your season.
Michael to Michael for the second straight time that Davini has taken the bump. He will be followed by Michael Madigan III out of George Mason. He worked an inning against the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts on July 2nd. Gave up a hit, 2 walks, and earned a run, and struck out 1. Michael Davini settled down after a tough start. He finished with 5 innings pitched, 3 runs, just 1 of them earned, allowed 7 hits and 2 walks, but not a ton of damage. Did not strike out anyone, though, Jackson.
Yeah, Davini had a rough start to the game, but rallied to put up 3 scoreless innings, keep his team in the game, and now it's a 1-run contest. That's exactly what you needed out of Davini today. And now he hands it to Madigan, who is tasked with a similar thing.
Well, Madigan will enter in a little bit of a soft landing spot. He'll get the 7-8-9 in Powell, Colligan, and Norton. Lefty on lefty to the all-star Michael Powell. Second pitch grounded to the right side. Parker Corbin fields, a couple of shuffles, and throws for out number 1.
Corbin able to hoover that one up. He has proven himself a pretty solid defender at second and third. Had probably his worst miscue of the year yesterday. A high pop fly that could have ended the inning. He dropped it under the glare of the noonday sun. It allowed 2 runs to score, but balls on the ground, he's been sure-handed.
And that error did not end up costing the Big Train too much. Chopper to third, Panette charging hard, and that one takes an odd hop. It was going to be a tough play regardless. The ball bounced in a little bit of a right-to-left fashion to evade both Panette's glove and his bare hand for an infield single.
That's marked down as an error. That is probably not the call that should be made there. And it looks like that has been reversed quite quickly. But it looks like one of those plays where you're on the green, you send your putt, it's headed right for the cup, and then hits your buddy's divot right in front of the hole and bounces away leftward and earns you a triple bogey.
I hope that doesn't happen to me tomorrow. I have a 7 a.m. tea time with a couple of friends, one of whom's birthday is today. So making a midweek trip to the golf course.
Hopefully a nice day for it. Rain holds off.
That's the hope. Some people have to work in the mornings, which is why we're teeing off so early. Obviously, our day doesn't start until 4:30 usually, although prep takes some time beforehand. Certainly not 7 a.m. time. 1-0 from Madigan to the 9-hitter Riley Norton. So scoring officially changed to a hit. John Colligan aboard with an infield single. Madigan 2-0. Weave and a miss from Norton.
It's a good changeup there. It was in the zone, but had a lot of dip and dive on it. And against the opposite-handed hitter, it's a new look, one he probably hasn't seen. Not a pitch that Madigan's shown a lot, so it fools Norton.
Madigan concerned with Colligan at first. Colligan 9 stolen bases on 11 attempts.
And Murphy, despite his pitch calling and framing skills, that's earned him an excellent catcher's ERA. The inferior arm when compared to Jacob Hawk, at least by the numbers this year, just 1 caught stealing.
2-1, a slider that bends in for strike 2.
Good job from Madigan working back with a changeup then a slider. Way down in the count and throws 2 good pitches to get back in against a strikeout-prone righty.
Looking to retire the Big Trains, or the Aces, for the first time via the K. Madigan comes home, flown into short left field. Coming in is Skoronsky, going out is right, and it'll be Skoronsky for out number 2.
Just got it in on the hand. Slider again from Madigan. Punches it in towards the body of Norton, who can only get jammed and flare it up into short left field. Good piece of pitching by Michael Madigan to work back there. Now he's back to a lefty.
The lefty is Cooper Hums, who has an RBI single. A fly out and a pop out. Taken off for second is Colligan. Throw from Murphy is late. A swiped bag for John Colligan. There's a runner in scoring position with 2 away.
It's a great jump by Colligan there. When you're stealing against a lefty, a lot of teams and coaches preach going on first move no matter what, because when you have Colligan's speed, you believe you can beat out the pair of throws that a lefty would make, even if he does pick off towards first. And so we got a good jump.
1-0, laced down the line and fair inside the first base bag. Rounding and scoring easily is Colligan. On to second. Hums, the throw from Steele, not in time. Cooper Hums, an RBI double. And the Aces' lead is doubled. It's 4-2.
It's a big swing from Cooper Hums in this game. If you go back to the Big Train's half of the inning, leading just by 1, the Aces feel that their momentum is severely diminished after giving up those 2 runs as a result of an unlucky bounce. But they get their bounce of their own earlier in this inning when Colligan was up at the plate, and then good swing by Hums guides it past a rangy first baseman in Gonzalez and earns his team another multi-run lead.
Madigan working with a runner in scoring position again. Gets a swing and a miss from the dangerous Toby Huber, who's 0 for 3. But a big insurance run for the Aces. This ball likely to be turned over to the Aces bullpen. They would love to see a little more cushion. Madigan trying to ensure that does not happen, and he'll check on Cooper Hums. Throw nearly goes into center field. Brendan Wright, a Superman leap to make that grab.
Speaking of Superman, I told you I'd eventually come up with a superhero, and not really a superhero, but I guess you could argue, but I love Star-Lord of Guardians of the Galaxy. Big Drax as well. Those are good films from James Gunn.
Some solid pulls.
Yeah, I don't know if neither of them necessarily have superpowers, but in the traditional sense, I suppose.
Yeah. Neither does Batman,
Yeah.
who was the most common answer of the Big Train players in our poll yesterday, conducted by Jack Coble, one of our VEC interns. That's on the social medias, or at least on Instagram. I'm not sure if it made it to the Twitter, but go check that out if you're curious to see who your favorite player put for their favorite superhero.
Should check out and follow that Instagram account if you haven't already. Some great work from our fellow interns, including Caroline Smith on graphics, unparalleled in the Cal Ripken League.
3-1 pitch. In the zone, strike 2. Cooper Hums has third base stolen. Yeah, I believe Caroline just got up a Brennan Wright graphic for his 25th time on base, which is the most in the Cal Ripken League. 3-2, 2 outs. Runner's 90 feet away. Swing and a miss. The Big Train finally get a strikeout. Michael Madigan gets Toby Huber to end the 5th inning. A run crosses the plate, but another is stranded on third. Big Train down 2 going to the bottom of the 6th.
Brennan Wright hitting .355 and with the most hits in the Cal Ripken League has become an all-star this year. The Starkville, Mississippi native has been locked into the 2-hole for the Big Train and has led the league's best offense with his steady play up the middle and at the plate. Wright's making the all-star team and will look to continue his solid play for the rest of the year as the Big Train hunt for their 3rd straight Cal Ripken League title.
Anthony Eli's electric day is finally over. He works 5 innings, allows 5 hits, 2 earned runs, although both a little bit because of an unfortunate bounce over the shoulder of second baseman Toby Huber. Walks 2 and strikes out 2. Aiden Alexander, the new arm, thrown from the left side. He is out of George Washington, has appeared in 5 games with a 5.62 ERA. Elio Gonzalez, the first man to hit. Fly ball into short right field. That could be trouble. Dropping fast and handled on a slide by Gavin Degnan.
Gonzalez, that's a pitch that might have hit him if he didn't pull out and swing. Just really steps out and yanks at it. It was headed towards his face, and he wanted to go first pitch hunting on a breaking ball that just kind of spun up there, and all he can do is pop it up.
Here's Matthew Wesley taking first pitch for a ball. Wesley today 0 for 2. He struck out looking to end the threat in the first, and then a bounce out to second base in the fourth. Alexander misses again with the sinker. (2-0), fouled straight back.
Fastball up, but still in the zone. Something that Wesley can very well drive, but just a bit under there.
A ball about 1.5 feet of ride. 2-1. Another fastball at 81. This one misses above the zone.
The look of Alexander's pitches reminds one of Twins right-hander Joe Ryan. Throws from a low arm slot, but gets a lot of ride. That can be very tough for hitters because they're expecting it to drop.
Well, Wesley under another fastball. This one middle, as central as a pitch you can throw, but Wesley was under it.
What ride is all about is looking different than what you would expect. You'll see a lot of guys with crazy vertical ride numbers, but they come straight over the top, so it's a bit more easy to pick out. Guys who sling 3/4 and get a lot of hop can be tough to deal with.
Wesley punched out for the second time. He didn't agree with that call, but our TrackMan zone has that right on the corner as basically either way the umpire calls it, he's correct. That is as in between as a pitch can be and a perfect spot for Aiden Alexander.
Alexander looking sharp so far, especially against Wesley. That's a well-sequenced at-bat against one of the better hitters in the league so far.
Here's Peyton Steele. 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts today.
And if my pitch recognition is correct, that's back-to-back at-bats started with a changeup from Alexander, something you don't usually see.
1-0, wave and a miss at a fastball. Not a lot of difference between the fastball and the changeup in mileage. 81 to 82 on the fastball, about 75 to 77 on the changeup. 1-1's outside, that fastball up to 83.
One thing you can also say about Alexander is he kind of varies the look coming home pitch to pitch, moving that arm angle around, purposeful or not. It's increases the difficulty for the hitter.
Usually pitchers counseled against moving the arm slide because it makes it harder to consistently throw strikes, but if you can locate in the zone, it does make it much tougher for hitters to hit. 2-2, 2 outs to Peyton Steele. Pitch way off the plate for ball 3.
You mentioned locating the zone. That's something for the most part that Alexander has done, has walked just 3 guys in his now 8 2/3 innings pitched. One of the better percentages you'll find in a somewhat walk-heavy Cal Ripken league.
The payoff to Steele is fouled straight back. We'll do it again.
Steele has sent it to the outfield twice and has twice been denied his first hit in a while.
3-run home run in Thursday's game at Olney. It's the last time he had a hit. Payoff pitch, grounded to short. Derek Almeida, a sponger over there at short. He cleans up everything and a 6-3 putout for a 1-2-3 6th inning. Jackson Corcoran will take over for the late innings. Big Train still chasing 2.
Brett Ott, the speedy outfielder, is an on-base machine no matter where in the lineup he hits, whether he's hitting third, fifth, seventh, or ninth. He is putting up numbers, a .515 on base, above average defense in the outfield. He makes up another Cal Ripken League All-Star from the Big Train.
Whether you're a Maryland Terrapins fan like our own producer-engineer Gibson Hort, or a member of the Big Train faithful like most of you listening in, there's something for you at July 10th's game against the Southern Maryland Senators, because the Big Train are giving away a bobblehead of UMD coach and former Big Train player Matt Swope. This beautiful bobblehead of Swope is a perfect addition to any baseball memorabilia collection. Tickets are available at bigtrain.org/tickets. That's bigtrain.org/tickets. I can attest, having seen the bobblehead in person before it's been handed out, it's one of the most well-detailed, nice-looking bobbleheads I've seen at the minor league or collegiate summer ball level. It's got a beautiful rendition of the Terrapins jersey, Swope's face. I've glanced at the picture. It looks quite similar. It's a very nice bobblehead. You'll want to pick it up. Grab your tickets today. Breaking ball in there from Michael Madigan, back for his second inning of work. He faces Derek Almeida, who ended the bottom of the sixth with a 6-3 putout. Madigan takes his short step back and drops in another breaking ball for strike two.
Almeida today has got a pair of hits. Came around to score in the first and was left on third in the fifth.
The 2-2 just misses. Looked like it might have cut off the corner, but our home plate umpire waves it away, and Michael Madigan will have to put another pitch homeward. Heaves out of breath mid windup and leaves it high for his first walk of the day. Madigan has walked multiple batters in each of his previous 4 appearances, trying to avoid that today against Ernie Echeverria, who we've talked about is an on-base machine.
Yeah, hasn't walked today, but 19 on the season in just 15 games played, so more likely than not to walk in any given game. 1 for 3 today. He had an RBI ground out in the first and then singled sharply into left.
From the stretch, Madigan throws in the dirt. It's blocked by Dylan Murphy. Echeverria, relatively fleet of foot for a catcher. 3 stolen bases on the year, so won't be automatic to double him up on a ground ball. Almeida also quick at first base. 8 of 11 on base thefts. Could see him take off here as well. Stays put for now, as that's another pitch out of the zone from Madigan. Lefty flexing his glove, shaking his head, working his shoulder around, trying to get comfortable up there on the slab. Swing and a liner into right center field. Moving over is Alex Peltier. He makes the catch on the canter and retires Ernie Echeverria one away in the 7th.
Peltier just gets such good jumps out there. He made that catch look much easier than it should have been.
And I suppose today is my pro player comps day because I'm going to liken Alex Peltier to Pete Crow Armstrong, a guy who his great catches aren't always on the dive. In fact, they often aren't. He makes plays that other outfielders don't because he's so quick to the ball, reads it off the bat, and makes plays on the run that other outfielders would have to make on the dive. Taking off from first base is Almeida. The throw from Dylan Murphy is to the wrong side of the bag, and the shortstop slides in with a stolen base.
Almeida, no hesitation. Madigan didn't even take a peek over at first. So an easy swipe for the shortstop.
Runner in scoring position for Gavin Degnan. Right-hander who has knocked in 15 runs this year, including today's RBI. Degnan has 3 ground balls, but one's an infield hit. One got through, but one was chopped back to Michael DeVinny. He made the play, so 2 for 3 is the Aces right fielder. Good pitch, strike called. 2 strikes now on Degnan. Sophomore who makes his way here from Lakehurst, New Jersey. Spits on that one, it's 2-2.
Degnan's got some power in his bat. He's got 5 doubles on the year, which is tied for 7th in Cal Ripken League. At Penn, he had 23 hits on this season. 14 of them were extra bases. 9 doubles, 4 homers, and a lone triple.
The Quaker stands in against the George Mason product. Madigan taking off from second base is Almeida. Checking the swing at home is Degnan, and Almeida back-to-back stolen bases has him at third.
Again, Madigan just not looking at Almeida at all. He got a shuffle and was taking off for third and before Madigan was even on his way to the plate. Just not good job holding on the runner.
The Big Train Edenfield will put their cleats on the cut of the grass. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Michael Madigan. Big pitch in the inning. There's now 2 away for E.J. Hankerson.
Huge spot for Michael Madigan, where I had worked the count down up to full after being ahead 1-2, runner 90 feet away in a game that the Big Train have to keep where it is. And Madigan is able to push his infield back to normal depth with the second out.
Hankerson, 1 for 3, a pair of flyouts and a single. Takes a pitch outside at 76 miles an hour, the breaking ball. Hankerson has knocked in 6 runs this year. The Terp from Baltimore, Maryland, swings and lines it towards Logan Panette, swallows it up on the tricky hop, and the peg to first is in. Plenty of time to retire the designated hitter. A leadoff walk does no harm here at Shirley Povich Field. The Big Train will look to erase a 2-run deficit when we return on the Big Train Baseball Network.
The only Big Train pitcher not to allow a single hit so far on the season, James Gladden, has a 1 ERA through 9 innings pitched, 2 saves for the Big Train reliever. He has been absolutely undeniably great this year. Good luck, James, in the All-Star game and on the rest of your season.
stretched here at Shirley Povich Field, and the gloaming has descended on the ballpark. The sky not yet black, still a hint of cerulean, but a pinkish hue edges over the horizon, the only hint of the extinguished sun as we enter the bottom of the 7th. Big Train down by 2, Logan Panett leading off. Way outside, Aiden Alexander lost the grip and sends it up, up, and away.
Well, Panett, Corbin, and Murphy due up in the 7th. This would be a great spot for the Big Train to start a rally. It's where they did in the bottom of the 5th with a walk and a fielder's choice before the top of the lineup got to hit it.
Logan Panett facing the left-handed pitching Aiden Alexander. Panett has a baffling split.
Yeah, Logan Panett against right-handed pitchers is hitting .396 with 6 extra base hits, 20 RBI, and an OPS north of 1100. Despite being a righty, against left-handed pitching, he's hitting just .125 with a .511 OPS, just 3 extra base hits and none of his 3 home runs, and only 7 RBIs.
And I wonder if it has something to do with his pull-heavy approach. Something about the way he sees pitches from the right side seems to allow him to get out in front. But the different look from the southpaws has led to some bleeders to the opposite field and some strikeouts on back foot off speed. The 4 for 32 mark on the year.
Yeah, just needs to make an adjustment and do a better job at going to the backside of the ball field. Just take pitches on the outside and drive them to right.
He takes a pitch on the outside here, but it was outside the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes in the pitched battle between Panett and Aiden Alexander. Ground ball left side. Fielded there low by Powell, throws over to first. It stretches Norton off the bag, and Logan Panett, the speedy infielder, beats it out. He's on base to lead off the 7th.
See if that scored an E5 or an E3. But either way, Logan Panett sparking the rally, and some unfortunate defense cost the Aces 2 runs in the 5th, although it was more of a bad hop than anything else. This one charged an E5 and possibly could spark a Big Train rally in the bottom of the 7th.
Parker Corbin, 3 for 19 against lefties on the year, such as Aiden Alexander.
The startling stat for Corbin. He is hitting just 172 entering the day on the year, despite the on-base above 400. With runners in scoring position, he's a very respectable 259. But in 35 at-bats with runners, either nobody on or just a runner on first, like this situation, he's 3 for 36 on the season. It's really been a struggle for him when he's hitting in a non-RBI situation.
Mario Mendoza's mark a distant memory for Corbin in these sorts of situations. It's tough for him because we've seen the power he has, and oh my goodness, Panett's picked off, but it's thrown away by Alexander. Panett is gifted an extra base, and Galvin Morris holds him steady at third, but 2 free bags. Alexander had him dead to rights, picked off with an excellent lefty move, but the throw less excellent, and Norton couldn't knock it down. 2 errors in the span of just a couple pitches has Panett at third.
Well, that's a sign that even in a game they're losing, things are going right for the Big Train. Panett should be out twice now, and instead stands 90 feet away. And now it is a situation where Parker Corbin hits much better and produces runs 17 RBI on the season.
He's plunked here with a slider that slid nowhere but the back of Parker Corbin. First and third for Dylan Murphy, and a chance to get back in this game.
Wheels are falling off the Aces right now. With the top of the lineup due up after Dylan Murphy. 2 errors and a pretty bad hit by pitch to start off this 7th. And the Big Train, who mounted a late come-from-behind win just yesterday in game number 1 of the doubleheader, are at least poised to do so with the tying run aboard, and the leading run will be at the plate.
Going out to talk to Aiden Alexander is the Aces pitching coach. They'll try and embody him with some of the stoicism of his alma mater's namesake. Hails from George Washington, the Revolutionary. Raise high the buff and blue. Shout out to my sister, Katie Corcoran, a rising sophomore in the political communications department at that school in downtown D.C.
And shout out to my high school, the School Without Walls, which leases a GW building and has for the last 50 years.
Here is Dylan Murphy. He pops it up. That'll stay on the infield. Derek Almeida has no son to battle and makes the catch. Points at his pitcher, Alexander, says, "You got this. 2 more of those, and we'll be home free."
A really good pitch from Alexander. Buries a fastball at 79 right at the bottom of the zone, and Dylan Murphy just caught leaning out on his front foot. A fastball just at 79, so Murphy a little ahead of it, and all he could do was pop it up.
Right-handers warming in the Aces bullpen. Alexander in for the moment against Alex Peltier, who takes the first pitch he sees for a ball.
Alex Peltier has already extended his on-base streak to 13 games, and he's looking for his 10th multi-hit game of the season.
The 1-0. An excellent changeup catches Peltier looking. Count is square at 1.
Peltier, another one of the big train hitters, like Corbin, who's much better in runners in scoring position situations, hitting .432 with RISP. That's solid 70 points better than his overall average on the season.
He swings and flies it into right field. That's carrying back towards the track, but it'll stay in the ballpark. And it allows the runner on third base, Panette, to tag and score. A sacrifice fly for Alex Peltier, his second in the last 3 games, and it's a 1-run game once again.
Big Train continue to battle, Get a little help from the defense. Alexander gets big first pop out, but Alex Peltier knows how to get it done and just able to drive one plenty deep enough for Panette to score. He's now just chasing 1 run again, and these are the 2 guys, Brennan Wright and Josh Skaronski, who you want at the plate in this situation.
Brennan Wright can thank an errant rock for the continuation of his on-base streak. Hit a ground ball right towards Toby Huber in the 5th, and then it hopped over the head of the Aces second baseman and into right field for an RBI single. Wright is now 1 for 3 with Corbin at first base now.
Parker Corbin making no mistakes, not going to get picked off here. Brennan Wright, meanwhile, is kind of the opposite case of Logan Panette, as we discussed earlier. Wright, or maybe the same case, but from the opposite side, is much, much better against lefties. The on-base increasing now from what it was at 571 against left-handed pitchers. Is a 485, 571, 545 slash against lefties. That slash just 283, 430, and 300 against right-handers.
Skaronski steps up. He's a guy with more traditional splits. 7 for 31 for a 226 average against lefties. 354, a robust mark against throwers from the right side of the rubber. Faces a lefty now in Alexander with 2 runners on. Chance to put the Big Train ahead or tie the game. Skaronski has driven in 17 this year. Tacked on another one today for his 18th. A single where Wright was thrown out on a brilliant toss from Gavin Degnan in right. Skaronski, a big wave and a big miss.
That pitch at just 70 miles an hour, leaking in there slowly. Skaronski tried to wait back on it, but just could not.
Big hack of Skaronski buffets Alexander with air all the way out there on the mound. He comes set in a slightly closed stance, set at the belt, now delivers, swinging a liner off the end of the Aces dugout. Ricochets all the way back out to Huber. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Oh, 2 to the Big Train All-Star. Just a bit outside. Aiden Alexander thought he had ended the inning, but his slider dipped away from the strike zone. and Echeverria couldn't redirect it back over the plate. Another one to Skaronski. Swinging a foul pop. He stays alive.
Josh Skaronski putting in a good at-bat here against the lefty. Lays off a pretty tough slider just off the plate. And now climbs the zone to stay alive with another slider at the top. See if he can't get one now in the zone and drive it somewhere.
Swinging a little looper towards Derek Almeida. Fields it on the hop, bare hands. The thrower to first in the dirt, and Skaronski beats it out. Skaronski beats the rap at first. The bases are loaded for Emilio Gonzalez, a man with a .500 average in just this sort of situation.
Yeah, that was a play where Derek Almeida should have been all out trying to catch that ball in the air. Josh Skaronski runs so well that as soon as Almeida waited back on that ball, even if he comes up with that perfectly cleanly, just no chance to retire Skaronski.
Gonzalez, his splits are pretty much neutral, hitting near 400 against lefties, near 370 against righties. He hits you no matter where you throw the ball from. The first pitch to him is taken for a strike. He's 1 for 3 today. Alexander gets the grip and delivers to the big train star first baseman. He sends it down the left field line. That's pushing Colligan back towards the track on the run. He makes the catch at his belt. A running grab by John Colligan strands the bases loaded for the big train. They trail by 1 after 7 on the Big Train Baseball Network.
Matt Wesley is the Big Train's all-star utility man, hitting well over 300. And with a league-leading 11 extra base hits, Wesley has been a lock to lock down any position he plays, playing 4 different spots over the season. He's been excellent, has earned his all-star berth, and will look to keep on rolling throughout the rest of the campaign.
There is a trio of games currently happening in the Cal Ripken League. The only crop dusters and Southern Maryland Senators appear to have not started their game. At the very least, it's not being tracked as of yet. No updates there. The DC Grays are leading the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts by a 9-3 score. And over at South County High School, the Gaithersburg Giants are pummeling the Braves 16-1.
It's a battle between the two teams chasing that final wild card spot. Both pretty far back, but with the T-Bolts set to lose their 8th in a row, barring a crazy comeback, a run by either the Giants or the Braves could position either one of those teams to at least stick around in the playoff race until late.
Speaking of the playoff race, the Big Train's magic number, you probably heard it earlier in the broadcast from Quincy Bell, is 3 to clinch the playoffs, and tonight's result between the Braves and Giants looks like it'll help the Big Train, as the only team they need to beat out is the 7th placed one to earn a postseason bid. Their magic number for the division, where only as their closest competitor, is 9.
Yeah, well, if Big Train are able to come back and win tonight, and the Giants hold on to beat the Braves, that means a Big Train win tomorrow would clinch a playoff spot before the All-Star break. The same could be said even if the Big Train lose tonight, a Big Train win and a South County loss tomorrow would produce the same result.
And then all eyes wearing green and black will turn to clinching the division. All important in this Cal Ripken League playoff format. Earns you a first-round bye and a direct bid into the league semifinal. That's fouled away again by Michael Powell, who's having a long at-bat to start the 8th against Michael Madigan.
Yeah, and especially important just because of the way the playoffs are formatted. That first round, the wild card round, is like the old MLB wild card format, just the one game. And anything can happen in one game, even with the Big Train as good as they've been, certainly capable of losing.
High, lazy fly ball into short right center field. Parker Corbin gives way to the Gold Glove caliber center fielder Alex Peltier, and the East Carolina man sets down Michael Powell, 1 dead.
Alex Peltier has been all over this outfield grass today. He's gone back, he's gone to all the way to the wall near the scoreboard, and he's come in a number of plays down behind the second base bag. He is so adept at covering ground.
Michael Madigan's first pitch to John Colligan is inside. This young man has scored 2 of the Aces' 4 runs. Speedy fellow has wreaked some havoc on the base paths and is the difference in this game. Ground ball towards second base. Parker Corbin eats it up and throws over to first, where Emilio Gonzalez gratefully receives out number 2.
Corbin's been very solid over at second. As a whole, the infield defense in recent weeks is much improved from how it looked early in the year, where throwing errors were pretty common, especially from the left side. But Corbin has been solid. Panette has been good. Well, he hasn't been able to handle the 2 toughest plays. And Brennan Wright has not seen a ton of action, but he has really bore down in recent games after at one point led the team with 6 errors and was near the top of the league, but has been very sharp defensively lately.
It has been quite a while since a Brennan Wright miscue, even at the tougher position of shortstop. He has really rounded into form and been stalwart out there up the middle for Bethesda. Swinging a foul from Riley Norton as Madigan looks to pick up the second 1-2-3 inning for the Big Train as a whole, and his first. Big Train are 2-2 in Madigan's appearances this year. Riley Norton takes high. We've discussed at length how strikeout prone Norton can be, but he has walked and put 2 balls in play today, still hitless, however. And he's set down on strikes here for the 24th time this year. Michael Madigan K's up Riley Norton to end the top of the 8th. The Big Train have another chance to take the lead when we come back.
The run producer himself, Peyton Steele, arrived from Alabama and immediately ripped off 18 games in a row with a run or an RBI. He's got 37 combined on the season. He packs the punch in the middle of this lineup with 9 doubles. Peyton Steele is a Cal Ripken All-Star.
From one Aiden to another, the task of protecting the lead for the Alexandria Aces passes. Aiden Alexander cedes his duties to Aiden O'Brien. 2 solid innings for the lefty, 1 unearned run allowed, and Aiden O'Brien steps in to protect the 1-run slim edge.
One Aiden to another. There are 5 Aidens on this Aces pitching staff. Seeing 2 tonight. O'Brien's only worked in 2 games this season. Has allowed no runs, just 3 base runners, struck out 1. One of his 2 outings was enough to earn him the win. And the Aces comeback victory over the Big Train. Worked the inning before, or worked the bottom of the 5th in that game. And then the Aces piled on 7 in the top of the 6th.
First pitch to Matt Wesley, the only Matt in the Big Train lineup today. But there are also 4 different spellings of the name Aiden smattered across the Alexandria roster.
Yeah, A-I-D-A-N, A-D-A-N, A-Y-D-E-N, and
A-Y-D-A-N, I believe. Perhaps not. It might have just lied to the people.
I think you have just lied to the people.
3 spellings of one name, still a lot.
Yeah. Make that actually 6 Aidens out in the staff, not just 5. 3 of them the A-Y-D-E-N fashion, 2 the more common A-I-D-A-N, and 1 Aiden Longoria without the I.
Popped up down the right field line, heading towards that Aiden-filled bullpen and out of play.
Also a Matt Wesley, maybe the only Matt at the plate or in the Big Train lineup, but there's a lot of Matts out there. 4 more Matts line the bullpen bench for the Alexandria Aces.
Pitcher for the Alexandria Aidens gets a line drive up the middle for a base hit from Matt Wesley. His first hit of the day in an opportune spot. He's the tying run.
I have to check. Did you mean to say Alexandria
Yes.
Aidens? Okay, just making sure. I thought you did, but figured I would check and shout it out for the listeners who may have missed it. It was pretty subtle.
It's well and truly nighttime here at Shirley Povich Field. The clock reads 9:17 out in left center field, 82 degrees of the temperature. It's cooled down about 5 ticks from first pitch.
Big spot for Peyton Steele. 0 for 3 today and has not hit a ball hard. However, this is a place where he needs to get right in his late game situations. If he picks up a hit, maybe an extra base hit here, might spur him on his way to showing what he showed earlier this season.
The bunt shown by Peyton Steele appears to throw off O'Brien, who lets a curveball pop out of his hand above the eyes of Peyton Steele. Wesley has a 2-step lead over at first base, not really a threat to run. And he jogs on back to first after a short secondary. Count is now 2-1.
Well, Wesley extending his on-base streak now to 17 games. He has not been great today, but that single now makes him the tying run.
2-1. Inside for a ball. You mentioned earlier, Eliav, the improvement the Big Train have shown in close ball games on the year now. They are 6-4 in games decided by 2 runs or fewer. And after a start where they dropped a couple of those games, including on opening night, that is ball number 4. Peyton Steele will take a easy jaunt to first base, first and second for Logan Panett.
Yeah, well, they've won their last 4 by the margin of 2 or fewer, all in this win streak. And so they're figuring out how to play close games, which is really, in my opinion, an underrated aspect of being a baseball team. You can put up 10, 12, 13, 15, 21 runs all you want. But if you get caught in a dogfight like this one and you don't know how to win late and win small, it is tough sledding when it comes to the playoffs, where you're only seeing the best arms every night. The at-bats are a little more professional, and teams are really playing their best ball. And so the Big Train, I've really been encouraged by the variety of ways that they've won games in this 9-game win streak. They've won them in high-scoring fashion, 15-13, 13-1 in blowout fashion, but they've also won the low-scoring games, 2-1, 5-3, 3-0 yesterday, their first shutout. So doing a lot of things well. They've come back a couple times. They've blown a couple leads and had to hold on to secure wins.
Panett, the league's RBI king, squares around to bunt. Riley Norton crashing the back pick towards second base. Wesley hangs on to the bag by a toenail and is safe.
And well, it happened about 2 weeks ago to Emilio Gonzalez. Very similar situation. Bunt squared around early, first and second, and the back pick was drawn up to retire him at second, and Wesley gonna have to be really careful.
O'Brien versus Panett. The third baseman is 0 for 3 today and pops it up towards the first base dugout, moving over Norton, and he's going to run out of room and heads into the bucket seats down the first base line for strike one.
Let me tell you what just happened, Jackson. The big train, every single time, more or less, that they get first and second and nobody out, they're squaring to bunt. Logan Panett does so. That back pick, even though they didn't record the out, takes the bunt play off because now the big train are wary of getting back picked. Wesley can't come too far off the bag for fear of that back pick, but if he doesn't, he's risk of being thrown out at third. Now here comes the bunt again.
It's a solid one to the right side of the mound. It's hopped and it's picked by Toby Huber, moving over. Sacrifice 1-4 is the call. Logan Panett gets the job done. There's 2 in scoring position for Parker Corbin.
So the big train and Sal Colangelo and third base coach Galvin Morris, who gives the signs, ultimately undeterred, but it looks like they were going to take the bunt play off for fear of the back pick, and it would have been a major win for the Aces. Instead, Logan Panett, a productive at-bat, and now Parker Corbin gets to hit in his much-loved runners in scoring position situation.
A chance to pick up a swing that changes the game. Corbin waves at the first pitch. Corbin is hitless in his last 13. Swinging a pop, that's going to stay on the infield and in play. Right under it is Powell, makes the catch. There's 2 outs, and Dylan Murphy will have to play hero.
Major second out for Aiden O'Brien. He is able to sit down Corbin, who all he really had to do was put one into the outfield, but just pulls out, was stepping up the first baseline and pops one up on the infield. So now either the big train need to take advantage of a wild pitch, or Dylan Murphy's got to pick up his first hit of the night.
Indeed, his first hit in his last 4 games played. 0 for 12 is his unfortunate streak. The chance has passed on to Murphy. It's high, ball 2. The base is open, but Peltier lurks in the on-deck circle. Not a man you want to see. Murphy ahead in the count. Aiden O'Brien winds and fires. Low, ball 3.
Alex Peltier so dynamic in 2-out situations. O'Brien has to bear down and throw a strike.
Murphy squares to throw off O'Brien. It works. Ball 4, 2 walks in the inning. The bases are loaded for Alex Peltier.
Alex Peltier, with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, is a marvelous 8 for 18. He's .432 overall with RISP. And this, his biggest plate appearance with RISP, at least during this win streak.
O'Brien exhales, comes set at the belt. The pitch to Peltier. Outside. Ball 1. There's nowhere to put him. The tying run is Matt Wesley at third. O'Brien's balls thrown outnumber his strikes. Can he find the zone against Peltier? Ball 2. 6 in a row now. Two dugouts on tenterhooks here at Shirley Povich Field. The game in the balance in the bottom of the 8th. Swing and a foul tip at the plate. A pitch down the middle swung at by Peltier, but can't do anything with it.
It's a big swing from Alex Peltier. 6 straight balls, oftentimes you get the take sign. Peltier not your typical leadoff hitter. He's always got the green light, and that time just missed a pitch at the top of the zone.
Peltier at the plate. Stands slightly open, holds the bat down on the knob, and takes strike 2. O'Brien coils, delivers. Ball 3 outside. A dangerous take by Peltier, but it earns him a full count with the game on the line. This is the moment of backyard dreams. Your team down by 1. The bases are loaded. The count is full. O'Brien comes home to Peltier. Swinging a ground ball to the left side. It gets through! That game is going to be tied. The throw goes home, and caught between third and home is the runner. They're going to run at him, and he is tagged out. They get Peyton Steele on a wild play. What a backup by Derek Almeida. And indeed, the out call is held up. Peyton Steele is tagged. 1 run scores. The game is tied heading to the 9th. It will all be decided next on the Big Train Baseball Network. Archbishop Shirley High School and one of the hottest pitchers wearing Big Train colors takes to the mound. James Gladden will toe the slab in the ninth, has a 1 ERA on the season, and has not allowed a single hit over his 9.0 innings pitched. His last 2 outings have been uneventful saves in high-pressure situations. Another high-left spot for the hard-throwing right-hander. Baltimore native faces a trio of all-stars, Hums, Huber, Almeida. Almeida made a brilliant play to keep this game tied last inning, grounded towards Parker Corbin. 1 pitch, 1 out for Gladden and co.
Yeah, it's worth going back and revisiting that last play. Derek Almeida with one of the most subtle but incredible plays you'll ever see a shortstop make. That was a ground ball to the third baseman. And Derek Almeida was sprinting into the hole. That ball kicks off the glove. Almeida able to snare it, stay on his feet, and have the wherewithal to fire home. Peyton Steele was rounding, trying to score the game-winning run, or the game-leading run at least, in that situation, because that ball looked destined for the outfield as soon as it kicked off the glove of Powell. Instead, Almeida with a heads-up and very athletic play to keep this game tied.
A 91-mile-per-hour fastball catches Dylan Murphy in an unprotected area after a foul tip. He goes to the ground, rolls around, and then pops up like nothing happened, shakes out the arm a little bit. And just the other day with Quincy, I was saying, I think hell will freeze over and the sun will fall out of the sky before a catcher asks to be taken out of the game, especially in a tie ball game in the ninth.
Yeah, no chance Dylan Murphy's exiting this game. I think that ball might have caught him on the, maybe on the arm. He was also rubbing the inside of his right thigh a couple of places, but one way or another, he's back out there.
That pitch is high for a ball. Toby Huber has been frustrated today. The batting average king of the Cal Ripken League is 0 for 4. Did reach on an error and score 8 innings ago. Gladden's 2-1. Swing and a tapper that hops off the plate and up into the arm of Huber for a foul ball.
Oh, James Gladden's slider, one of the most disgusting pitches you'll see in the Cal Ripken League. That comes in, that pitch came in at 83 miles an hour, 2,200 RPMs, and it has 16 inches of horizontal break and 5 inches of vertical break.
The 2-2 goes again to the slider. This time starts it off the plate and ends up way off the plate. 3-2. The amount of break it has, though, you kind of have to start it closer to the batter. It's tough to deal with as a hitter, but sometimes it's tough to corral even as a pitcher.
Yeah, that's why Gladden has so many walks. That's really been his only issue. But he has walked 9 batters in 9 innings.
And now make it 10. Hadn't walked a batter in 3 of his last 4 appearances. Gives up a free pass here to a quick runner in Huber. And here's Derek Almeida, who has made his mark all over this contest.
Now, Almeida, I mean, we talked about the defensive play he just made. Also has a number of impressive putouts. And on top of that, he's 2 for 3. He's got a run, a walk, and 2 stolen bases. Almeida
Waggles the bat ever so slightly as he faces Gladden. The fastball is inside at 90, and bending out of the way is the Aces shortstop. The Chaffee College man from Rancho Cucamonga, California. The all-star shortstop stands again against the all-star pitcher, and he fouls it away. Gladden last allowed an earned run back on June the 6th against Olney. Last allowed a run of any kind, 2 unearned, on the 25th of June. Breaking ball away.
Gladden able to work 1 inning or 2 innings just as easily either way. So if this game does make it to extras. I mentioned we see him back out there for the 10th, but first, the task at hand.
2-1 to Almeida. Ugly swing and a miss. Went to a cutter there, I believe. A very nice pitch from James Gladden, right in between the movement profile of that fastball and that slider. And Almeida thought it was one or the other and takes an ugly hack.
A rarely used pitch from Gladden, but whips it out at the perfect time.
The 2-2 now. Runner takes off. It's grounded towards the hole. Diving try by right. He knocks it down, comes up throwing, and it's picked by Gonzalez. He has to come off the bag. There was no chance to get Almeida. Wright does a good job to knock it down. There's a very high probability that Huber finds himself on third if Wright doesn't make the stat.
And that, Jackson, is the first hit allowed by James Gladden all season. He had worked 9 innings. He had walked 9 batters, but had not allowed a hit. And the first one stays on the infield. But the runner on first advances, and now 2 aboard in a huge spot.
Ernie Echeverria takes a slider for a ball. He is a true outcome hitter, a home run on the year, 19 walks and 16 strikeouts. He takes a fastball here for strike 1.
Today, somehow, he's had none of those outcomes. 1 for 4. Every ball put in play. No walks. And his hit just a single.
Gladden checks on the runner, Huber at second base, peers towards home, and the fastball's outside.
Toby Huber is getting some big secondary leads over at second. I don't imagine he tries to swipe third. But if he finds the right pitch to go on with 1 out still in this at-bat, there is a chance.
Slider outside, hops past Dylan Murphy into the backstop. 2 runners move into scoring position. Second and third now for Echeverria.
Well, it doesn't even need to try to steal. Gladden continues to pummel that slider into the dirt. He's got to be in the zone with this pitch. Although now a base is open, but love to get a ground ball right at one of these infielders who are now parked on the cut, if not a pop-up on the infield.
Base now open, and it will be occupied by Ernie Echeverria. The bases are loaded for Gavin Degnan. Another opportunity with the sacks full.
And we'll see what the infield decision is here. Parker Corbin at the moment is still on the cut, but Brennan Wright in double play depth. So they'll go double play depth with the middle infield. Corners are in. And now a timeout. And Craig Lopez will come both to settle down James Gladden, but also to discuss the defense.
The Bethesda Big Train have won 9 baseball games in a row, the longest winning streak since 2019. It is in jeopardy now. James Gladden has to perform a Houdini act up there on the hill. He's loaded them up with 1 out, has Gavin Degnan and E.J. Hankerson to face.
Degnan has some speed, 5 stolen bases on the year. But if it gets hit into this double play depth, certainly a pretty good chance for the Big Train to turn 2. Both Panette and Gonzalez have quick first steps at the corner, so a little more range than your average corner infield on a ground ball hit there, but obviously playing so close, something hit hard will get through.
First pitch is a swing and a miss. That slider gets Degnan to whiff.
And obviously the ideal here for Gladden, who has 11 strikeouts on the year, is just a simple punch out and push the defense back to their normal positions.
Slider backs up on him a little, stays high. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out in the top of the 9th.
Degnan, though, has just 12 strikeouts on the year, including 1 today.
Gladden's pitch. Inside and high. 2 balls and a strike. The defense for the Big Train shuffles and moves, trying to perfectly position themselves to keep this game knotted at 4. From Gladden to Degnan. Inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Gladden strolls behind the mound, clears the mind, nods yes to the pitch call. A pitch that has to be a strike. It's not in the zone, but it's a strike. Slider hunting as Gavin Degnan sends a kind gift James Gladden's way. The count is full.
That's as lucky as you'll be as a pitcher. Obviously a very good pitch to bait a swing, but Degnan was hacking all the way in a position where he should have been taken for the perfect pitch.
Cut and a foul, sparkling away into the parking lot. Gladden stares off into the woods beyond left field, finds his peace of mind, and he steps homeward. Swing and a pop into short right field. Coming in is Peyton Steele. He's on the full tilt. He makes the catch. The runner tags and heads home. The throw is a strike to Murphy. The tag is dropped, and the runner is safe. The Aces lead 5-4.
Unbelievable. Peyton Steele comes flying in from right with the infielders positioned poorly to make a play on that. Peyton Steele had to come a long way, makes the catch, and then is able to square his feet and his shoulders and make a perfect throw, but it's right in the dirt, and Dylan Murphy could not both grab it and apply the tag to the foot of Toby Huber, and an unfortunate run. And as close of a play as you will see, it looked like Murphy had the tag, and the ball just was not in his mitt.
And to be frank, from the Alexandria third base coach, that's a bad process, good result. That is a poor send with the arm of Peyton Steele. He's moving full tilt towards home. He had him dead to rights, but the in-between hop cannot be sussed out by Murphy. And so the Aces lead.
I disagree with you, Jackson. In that situation, that's out number 2 being caught there. E.J. Hankerson coming to bat is hitting below 200. James Gladden, an all-star closer. That is a spot where you're not sending him in most situations, but in a 4-4 game in the 9th, with the way this Big Train offense plays, I actually agree with that send.
Peyton Steele, I just see he's 60 feet beyond the edge of the grass there in the outfield. And again, he's running home, and all he has to do is square and throw. And throws anywhere at the chest of Murphy. I think it's out number 3, but we can agree to disagree here. That's up and inside to Hankerson. 2 Maryland Terrapins squaring off. Last time these 2 locked horns in Alexandria, there was some friendly banter exchanged after Gladden retired the outfielder. Perhaps a less friendly spot now. Swing and a miss. Gladden escapes, only allowing 1 run, but it's an important run. It's the go-ahead run. The Big Train need to score to continue this game or to win it. We'll be back on the Big Train Baseball Network. The difference between victory and defeat balances on the right arm of Cole Gebbin. That is the closer's lot. The right-handed pitcher from Vicksburg comes into this game with a 1-run lead to protect, and the middle of the Big Train lineup to face Brennan Wright, leading things off here in the bottom of the 9th. Game on the line.
Yeah, well, Brennan Wright is the guy you want leading things off. He is 556 is the average when leading off an inning, and with the powerful bats of Skowronski and Gonzalez behind him, this is really right where you want the lineup if you're the Big Train. But Cole Gebbin has been pretty good this year, has a save to his name.
A 4.82 earned run average, a .209 batting average against. He throws a first pitch strike to right, a second pitch ball.
He has walked over a batter an inning, 10 walks in 9 1/3 innings to just 5 strikeouts. So vulnerable to giving up a base on balls. And Brennan Wright, as we know, such a patient hitter. That could be to his benefit here.
Another one outside. 2 Mississippians squaring off. Wright and Gebbin. Another slider, another ball. Ball 4 outside. Brennan Wright never took the bat off his shoulder, and now he is on first and serves as the tying run.
Brennan Wright, very good at bat. Didn't have to do much there with none of those sliders. They kind of were all in the exact same spot, about 8 inches off the plate. Wright has stolen 7 bags on 9 attempts. Well, I imagine he's going to stay put here. Maybe he tries to take off with 1 out. I could be wrong. You don't want to take the bat out of Skowronski's hands, as good as he's been.
Another pitch low, but right over there at first base had his hands on his knees when the pitch was delivered. He is content to just maintain his spot on the base paths as of right now. That's high for a strike. At the letters for Josh Skowronski. He's a tall guy, but not that tall.
Yeah, with no outs here, Brennan Wright's in no pickoff mode.
A slider, that one more definitively in the zone, but only just.
Skowronski on the day 3 for 4, the trio of singles, but now in a hole. Just needs to do something, at least move the runner over.
Takes an off-speed pitch below the zone. It's 2-2 to the powerful lefty. Skowronski has played hero once this year against Metro South County. Can he do it again? Swing and a miss. Skowronski goes down to a fastball on the outer half, and there's 1 down in the 9th, 2 to go for Alexandria.
This is where I could see Brennan Wright taking off. Even with as good as Emilio Gonzalez is, and as much power as he has, you'd love to see a runner in scoring position with 1 out. We'll see how aggressive Wright and Morris and Colangelo decide to be.
Ball 1. Gebbin has been sliding it around the zone. 8 balls and 4 strikes. Another one misses. He hasn't found the plate much.
And Brennan Wright content over there at first base, not going anywhere, especially with Gebbin struggling to throw strikes.
Powerful lefty Gonzalez spits on another one. That's low. A walk brings up Matt Wesley. Have to think the red light is on here for Gonzalez, even as good a hitter as he is. And he does take a strike on the outer edge. Backdoor breaking ball.
That's what Gebbin tried to throw to Brennan Wright and just couldn't land it. So finally lands one, but still behind 3-1.
The swing is back on for Gonzalez. He takes it. It's up the middle. It's a base hit. Brennan Wright rounding second. He's heading for third. The throw from Hums is cut off. Runners at the corners. 1 down for Matt Wesley.
Emilio Gonzalez so good with the bats, takes a slider on the outside corner and just stays through it, doesn't try to do too much. 96 off the barrel, rolls it up the middle, and now all Matthew Wesley has to do is a deep fly ball or a grounder slow enough to not be turned two. And the Big Train will tie this game up. And for as good as the Big Train have been in a variety of situations this year, they are still without a walk-off. Could this be the game? They haven't, in fact, played in a single game that's ended with a walk-off hit or walk-off anything. 26 games played, and none have ended in the bottom of the ninth or later.
Matt Wesley with the tying run on third, the winning run on first. Slider inside, missing to the arm side again is Gebbin.
He's got to be careful here because another miss to the arm side with the spots he's been missing in could load the bases.
Breaking ball, yes, it's a strike. Wesley scored the tying run last inning after reaching on a leadoff single. The 1-1. It's high. Gebbin taps his foot, raises his leg and comes home. Chopper up the middle towards Almeida. Double play chance. Shovels with his glove towards second base. Everybody's safe. This game is tied. Brennan Wright knots up the game and scores. An ill-advised fielder's choice squares this ball game at 5.
And you said it, Jackson. That was the wrong decision. Derek Almeida has been so good at shortstop tonight, but he has to understand that he needs to take the out at first, accept that the game's going to be tied, even if he gets that flip successfully, which is an incredibly tough play. There's no chance to turn two. And now they're still only one away, and the winning run now represented by the much speedier Brett Ott.
Ott heading out to pinch run for Emilio Gonzalez. Peyton Steele at the plate. What a chance to break out of the slump here for the Alabama product. First pitch to him. Past the catcher Echeverria and to the backstop. Ott moves up.
Now all Steele needs is a fly ball in the outfield or a seeing eye single past this infield on the dirt or on the grass, and that will do it. Steele has had strikeout woes this season, but for as much as he's struggled lately, the strikeouts are down, and they're going to walk him.
They'll put Peyton Steele on to face Logan Panett. Intentional walk, the first we've seen of a Big Train hitter this year. And Logan Panett wants to prove they sent the wrong man to the plate.
So what that does is there's now a force out at home, so the infield all in. But all Panett needs is a ball in play past those infielders.
Ground ball towards Almeida. Makes the play. He throws home. And the tag is applied to the plate. What a job by Almeida. Makes up for his earlier gaffe. And now there are 2 outs in the inning. The base is still loaded for Parker Corbin.
And a bad base running mistake by Brett Ott, who did not realize that the intentional walk loaded the bases and forced him home because Derek Almeida was rolling on the ground and Brett Ott had retreated back to the third base bag. If Brett Ott is off with contact, with how slow that throw came home, that might be the game.
Parker Corbin takes strike 1. Extra innings loom if Gebbin can hold off Corbin. Corbin takes outside. Gebbin's pitch is a ball.
Parker Corbin, the walks, or tied for the walk leader on this team with Brendan Wright, and there is nowhere to put him.
Swing, and nothing but air. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The delivery. Chopper towards first. It goes foul. Gebbin's feeling pressure now, like all the water in the air on this sultry summer night has fallen squarely on his shoulders. Parker Corbin feels much the same. The 2-2. Count is full.
Does not get better than this, Jackson.
Game is on the line. Backyard dreams once again. The 3-2 to Parker Corbin on the way. Fouled off. We'll do it all over again. The game-defining dance between Cole Gebbin and Parker Corbin brought to its head here in the bottom of the 9th. Ball 4! Big Train win it! That's a Big Train winner! Blow the whistle, sound the horn! A walk-off for Bethesda! And that's 10 victories in a row for the men from Shirley Povich Field!
The Big Train show fight once again, and they are mobbing in slow fashion out by the pitcher's mound. Parker Corbin, the hero, but so was Alex Peltier with the RBI single in the 8th. So was everyone who got on in front of Corbin. This was a true team win. They tacked on 1 run in each of the 7th and the 8th and combated 1 aces run with 2 in the 9th. A walk-off, 2-out, full count walk for the guy with the lowest average on the Big Train. That is a magical way to get win number 10 in a row.
My, oh my, what a baseball game we just witnessed, Eliav. One of the very best of the year, without a doubt. Parker Corbin, the hero in the end, but as you said, so many heroes along the way. The small moments won the Big Train this game. You look all the way back to Michael DeVinny starting with the hellish start. 2 runs in the first, both unearned. Another one in the second, settles down, keeps his team in the ball game. Michael Madigan comes in. The second batter he faces comes around to score, settles in, throws 3 excellent innings. James Gladden holds things as they stood, leaving 2 runners at a scoring position, giving his team a chance, even though he had given up the tie-breaking tally. And the Big Train come out the better in a thriller at Shirley Povich Field.
And something tells me, Jackson, just an inkling in my stomach, that this could be the series we look at the end of the year with the championship on the line. The Aces play such good, clean baseball. Just 2 errors and both coming on the same play. They were so sharp defensively. The Big Train much the same. Both of these teams, the pitching is red hot. The bats get it done when it matters. The Big Train lead the season series 3-1, but these Aces are as dangerous a team outside of Bethesda as you'll find in the Cal Ripken League.
Your final numbers in a walk-off Big Train winner. 5 runs on 10 hits, 2 errors committed by the Alexandria Aces. For your Big Train, 6 runs on 12 hits, 1 error. James Gladden is your winning pitcher today. His record moves to 2-0. Cole Gebbin is your loser. He is now 1-1 on the season. The Big Train walk it off, and they'll travel to Olney tomorrow, trying to extend their lead in the North and extend their winning streak to 11. Quincy and myself will be on the call. Quincy will be your play-by-play man at First Responder Field in Olney, Maryland. That first pitch will come at 5:30 p.m. here on the Big Train Baseball Network. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.